Let's make sure we don't have 17 echoes going on. Good morning. Good afternoon. Today, we're building some Java stuff. So we've got Christos. He's on the hook to write a Java app. Should be fun to watch.
No pressure, especially since I haven't done any Java in my life before.
Yeah.
It's the first. Well, it was the first time last week when I tried it. But funny story: when I was in university, Java was all the rage back in the early 2000s, and .NET came out. And 2 weeks into our second year's first semester, the lecturer comes back and says, "Bring back all the textbooks. No more Java for you guys. It's gonna be .NET." And everybody's like, "What is this .NET? And why do we have to do this?" So that was my brush with Java throughout my 16-year career in software development, and I never really got to play with Java until now. And since we like to do identity stuff, I said, how hard is it going to be to do Java with Azure Functions? Because we do support Java now, and it's actually a very good experience. And then add MSAL.js or MSAL4J for authenticating any incoming calls, and then take that token and do a call to MS Graph.
Nice.
So today, this is what we're going to build.
Oh,
yeah.
very cool. So my buddy just texted me before we get started. He just texted me. He says we're building an app with. He says we're building an app that talks to SharePoint Online, which they're using SharePoint as a back end. We don't know how well that works out, but he tells me that they want to use a mobile app to talk to SharePoint, and there's ADDS.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that ADDS doesn't even matter here, right? I mean, if you're talking to SharePoint Online, it's essentially a graph call.
Yes.
Or it's maybe not graph per se, but it is SharePoint CSOM or whatever it's called now, the SharePoint client libraries and all that, which still need just an Azure AD token, right?
There you go.
So I'm thinking maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you just use a. Regular Azure AD with MSAL, and he's Java dev, so use MSAL4J.
And that's a mobile app, you said, right?
That's right.
So that would be either Kotlin or Java if they're doing an Android app, and Swift or Objective-C if they're doing native, but if they're using .NET, then that would be Xamarin, I suppose. Or Maui? Is it Maui these days?
I highly
Have they moved to Maui yet?
I highly doubt it's Xamarin. At least not this friend, because this guy, he's a Java buddy. Like, he and I laugh and joke all the time about Java, and he's a 95-year-old man in a 40-year-old's body. That's okay.
Well, like us then. So modern.
See, he's not here to defend himself, so I have to be careful. Actually he's using Flutter. Although Flutter's just for the front end, right? Although no, I guess the front end is the mobile app. So,
he's on the stream, so he's here to defend himself, or she. I don't know.
It's a he. Oh, it's
DT in the.
Oh, it's ADFS and it's Flutter. Okay. So, if it's SharePoint Online, the fact that it's ADFS doesn't matter, because you go through Azure AD, and Azure AD is going to handle taking a user over to ADFS or whatever it is they have to do. If there is no Azure AD, like if it's SharePoint on-prem, like SharePoint Server, and SharePoint Server is using ADFS, newer versions of ADFS have OpenID Connect, and in fact, I'm pretty sure, I know there's been a lot of debate, and this has been a quickly moving thing, I'm pretty sure MSAL works with that too. So you can just use MSAL and be done. You get a token and then you're done. Although you may have to use just a generic OpenID Connect library for the platform.
Yeah, I don't think we have MSAL for Flutter yet.
Well, I mean, Flutter is, what is it? Is it Java or JavaScript? I think it's Java.
No. It's
a whole new language? That can't be right.
There you go. Let's find
no,
out.
it is.
Flutter.
It is. It's called Dart.
Flutter is not a language rather than SDK. Okay, thank you, Medium, for correcting me. Flutter.dev. They have a really nice website, by the way. So it's a UI toolkit for creating mobile web.
Well, it uses it uses Dart.
Dart. Yes.
Well, it should be. You should be able to use MSAL4J if it has Java available. Just use MSAL4J. I don't know. I'll have to go. I'm kind of curious now. Maybe that's something we'll do next week because I'm kind of curious. Oh, and look, someone has written a wrapper.
Oh, look at that! The community jumps in.
Called MSAL-Flutter. And it's a wrapper library that uses MSAL for Android and iOS. So I guess it depends on whichever platform you're using.
Is that the GitHub repo that you're looking at by Mudio?
It is. Although this one looks like it's driven for B2C. But in any case, it's fine. I think if it's ADFS and SharePoint only, newer versions of ADFS use OpenID Connect, so you should be able to use that. As long as ADFS is a claims provider, is configured as a claims provider for SharePoint. If it's not, you'll probably end up in a case where you're essentially trying to connect to like a Kerberos resource, and that Kerberos resource is just SharePoint server on a VM. If it is using a claims provider of ADFS for SharePoint server, then you should just be able to authenticate against ADFS and just use an OpenID Connect library for that. If it's old ADFS, you'll probably have to use SAML or like WS Trust, which will probably be hard to find a pre-existing library for. SAML may be easier than the other. So hopefully it's a newer version of ADFS that does OpenID Connect, which I think is ADFS 2016 and higher. So
yeah, we can test it live on the stream and see how far we can take it.
Yeah,
at some point, because that would be an interesting experiment. Like we're so new to, like we didn't even know what Flutter was or what language it uses. So it would be interesting to try to like so much learning there, but. It could be fun, I suppose.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? I mean, just don't make it.
The worst is that we do it wrong, incorrectly,
yes.
Which, I mean, that wouldn't be anything new for either of us. So,
well, I'm pretty sure what we're going to show today is going to be so messy that, Java developers will be just cringing and like, what are these guys doing? But I made it work. So as long as I get it to work, then all you have to do is just take this, make it nice, and make it production ready, and you're good to go.
Yep.
And for those that have joined us now and they don't know what we're talking about, the whole point is we are going to build a Java-based Azure function that is protected by Azure AD. So you need to be authenticated with Azure AD and pass a token, a JWT token. The function will validate the JWT token, and then we will use that token to go and speak to MS Graph and get some data from Graph. So this is what we're doing today. And in order to start, this is a brand new box, so I don't have anything installed here. We could have used my pre-existing box, but then it takes away all the beauty of setting it up again. So let's see how you were going to start if you wanted to build Java functions today, right? So Java function, Azure Functions. And this is what I would have done before. There are some prereqs, if I remember correctly. There you go. Java functions using Visual Studio Code. This is what we're going to use today. So we have to set up a few things. Java, like .NET, has its own SDK, and it has tools to build code. So we definitely need the Java Developer Kit, which we can download here. Funnily enough, we do take you directly to the one, so you don't have to go and search for it yourself. So Java 11. I think you need 8 or above, so there you are. And then at the same time, we also need Apache Maven, which is a package and build tool. So let's download Java Maven. We need the zip file. So where are we here? Okay, we are on a Windows box. So let's go and get the. What's the difference between these two? Oh, that one. Oh, JDK. We just need the JDK, right? Let's do MSI. We'll do the JDK first, and then we'll do the Apache Maven, and then we'll check in the command line that Maven is installed. There you go. Java first. JDK, by the way, there is an open JDK now, so you don't have to go and download the Oracle one, if I remember correctly. And also you don't get all the junk on your installer. If I remember, it was, what was the toolbox, that the toolbar they would install on your browser, and then some other junk during the installation of Java. Even today, I think you still get them. So there you go, Java is installed, and it should be in the path as well. And then I'm going to install, actually we need to unzip Maven and put it, yeah, let's go through the instructions. Let's see, download, there was a how do you install somewhere here. Installation instructions, there you go. So for Windows, just unzip it somewhere. Okay, let's grab that and stick it into C program files. So we're installing Apache Maven here. It's taking a while. And then we need to add it to our path.
Is this a fresh VM? Like, did you just start from a brand new like Windows VM, or does it have other stuff on it already?
No, it's a brand clean, fresh. The only thing I installed was Edge Chromium and VS Code, just to save us a little bit of time. But with regards to the, okay, so that should be here now. I need to grab that. Is it the bin? Do I need to access the path? Yes, we need to add the bin, because this is where the libraries are. Okay, and back into our new.
Do you have to like reboot or anything for your path to get picked up?
No.
Okay, good.
But if you already have a command line open, then it won't pick up the information.
Yeah.
Right. So when you add something to the path, then you need to close any open command line tools they have, and then try again. So MVN.
Oh, Chocolatey does it for you. Thanks, Dev Lead.
All right.
There's so many, like, it's funny how there was, like, Chocolatey was one of the main package things for Windows, and then
yes,
there were, like, announcements made to build, and there were other projects that were out there, and there's just all sorts of stuff. Like, now it seems like there are multiple, but I've only used Chocolatey a few times. Like, I tried it, but I want, like, very specific installation settings, you know, like what I want installed.
Right, okay.
And for some stuff, it's probably easier, you know, for stuff like Maven, because there's not that many options. But I don't know. The dream of a fully scriptable Windows box, Windows Dev box, is still unattainable for me.
I think the Chocolatey guys will probably have other ideas, because I know they can have predefined files with specific settings. But you're right. I mean, sometimes you want to be super specific about how you install stuff.
Well, like Visual Studio has 9,000 checkboxes, right?
Yeah, the silent installer is not really something. I mean, I like to see where things go, so I have a bit of control of what's happening and where it's happening. So I am with you. I like to do the stuff manually. But yeah, there are ways to automate that, so don't listen to the old guys here. If you're young and hip, you can use the tools that make your life easier. So with Java installed, that means that we have all the necessary runtime stuff to do things. What we need to do next is to create the appropriate, or install the appropriate extensions inside our Visual Studio Code to be able to work with Azure Functions. So if we go back to the tools here, you'll notice that we have Visual Studio Code. We already have that installed. There's a Java extension pack, which is brilliant. So let's go and add the Java if I search for Java, you see Java extension pack comes to the top, and it's nice because it comes with all these packages. So it's a wrapper around all these, and it's like a Maven wrapper, language support. You get IntelliCode for Java, which is awesome, and then test runners and debuggers. So I can actually run and debug my Java function inside my VS Code. So that's awesome. I don't need any other tools. So let's go and install that one. And for this instance, I'm using the GA version. I'm not using the insiders build for VS Code. Usually I am playing with the latest and greatest bits, but not this time. Now we have the Java extension pack, but we don't have functions yet. So you can see here, there's nothing for functions. So let's go and install the Azure Functions.
Sorry, I'm going down the chocolatey Visual Studio rabbit hole now. Definitely tells us there's separate packages for most of the VS workloads, which is actually super cool. And I guess like once it's installed, then Visual Studio updates itself 7 times a week, so no big deal there. So I wonder. So sorry. I'm distracted. I'm gonna go chase this rabbit hole down.
Look, my chocolate friends are here. Hey, Jeb13. Hope you're good, man. Been seeing you in a while. He's from Scotland. Hope you're well. So there you go. We have the tools that we need, right? So now, what do we do next? How do we create our first function? So we need to go here. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to be logged in yet. So maybe we need to sign in first. There you go. Sign in. Oh, please don't ask me for my password. Opening my, I don't even remember my password on Windows. I'm opening up my password manager. I hope everyone does that. By the way, funny story, this morning I was reading a tweet by Troy Hunt. Another company, like an auctioning company, made it to the news because their passwords got hacked.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They were storing. Oh, you saw that?
Yeah. And they like in their notification they said, well, we are. What did they say? We're fairly confident that the passwords were reverse hashed. So I mean, they said they were decrypted, but I mean they were hashed, right? So it's probably not like a huge,
yes.
But yeah, I mean, just so many password databases out there, and you use something like Shodan, you go find them, and it's scary stuff. Like when I started using what it was called Azure Access Control Services a long time ago, I guess it was kind of like a precursor to B2C, and it was a bunch of stuff like WS Federation and WS Trust and all these like sort of older standards. But it also did like OAuth and stuff, so you could sign into with Facebook or or Google or whatever, and use that in your app. And I started using it. And I was like, oh, this is great. I don't have to worry about this now. Like it's no longer my problem. And so for this app that we were building, there was no local sign in at all. It was just federated sign-in. Like you could not sign up for an account unless you used an external one. And there was lots of pearl clutching about, oh my God, does that mean that, what if we lose people who just want to use their username and password? But I mean, this was 2011. So, back then people weren't as sort of leery of like Facebook. Like I don't even have a Facebook account anymore. And I kind of am not a big fan of social sign-in as much as, but I still like federated sign-in. Like I'll still use my, like my Outlook.com account, my Live account, whatever, because at least I know that somebody else is dealing with that, not me.
Yeah, man. I mean, the amount of times I walked into companies while I was a field engineer, and I would look into the horrific stuff that were deployed in production, and just try to help them and steer them to the right direction. And it's okay. I mean, code grows organically and companies go from a small solution that serves 5 people to giant solutions that become unwieldy and hard to manage and nobody wants to touch, but somebody has to take the executive decision and drive security and performance the right way.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're doing this here by educating people and showing them how to do stuff with identity and with security. So that's the goal anyway.
Well, yeah, because we're not building any security, or not security. We're not building any identity code, right? Like, we're not building anything that's storing passwords or dealing with passwords or anything like that. We are, we're building apps that consume the service, and we don't have to be. We don't have to be the ultra expert on all things identity in order for us to consume that service and configure it and use it, right?
Yeah. Just know enough to integrate with the identity solution, which is what we're doing here, and then use that to go and either call downstream APIs or access your Azure resources or your local resources securely. So we have the tools installed back to our project, and then we need to create a new workspace where our function is going to go in. So I'm following the steps here in the docs. So we're creating our, doesn't exist. Okay, fine, doesn't exist. Let's create that folder here. Then we're going to select this one. Now it asks us inside Visual Studio Code what kind of language we want to use. We want to use Java. Failed to find Maven in the system path. Really? We installed it. Yep. Path. We did put it into the right tool there, right? Maybe I need to close Visual Studio Code and open it again because it was open while we're doing this. So it may have not loaded the settings. So there you go. Let's find out what the problem is with Maven. Okay, take 2. So back into our extension, back into our right. So here, select that one, the same directory. See, Visual Studio Code did not pick up. Provide a group ID and press enter to confirm escape to console. So yeah, an artifact ID. I like the name. 1.0 snapshot. That's absolutely fine for me, I guess. Let's make it slightly bigger for people can see. Maybe this big. There you go. I'll press enter on this one. Provide a package name, called function. I'll go with the defaults. Provide an app name. I think that will be the application name that will go up into Azure, I assume.
Yeah, I think so.
And then, yeah, open in current window. Right, so it is creating our project down here. So it's 1 out of 3. Let me move it slightly to the right. There you go. It's downloading all the appropriate and necessary things. Almost like a .NET, right? So it does a .NET new, and then it does a .NET build. There you go. The workspace contains Java projects. Would you like to import them? Yes, please. Let's see what we have here. That's our code. Super nice. So we have the source, and down here we have the main function. It is an HTTP function. We're not doing anything funky. Do you want to exclude the Visual Studio Code Java project settings file? I don't know. Do I?
Usually if it's a question like that, I'm like, that's because both of those seem like big commitments, right? I don't want to do either. Exactly. I just close the the notification.
There you go. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know. I don't want to answer that right now. It's too much to ask. Can you make your screen like full at least or full screen?
Oh yeah.
Because there's a whole.
Is this not going to hide behind my face?
Well, maybe a little bit, but close the sidebar and I think we'll be good. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Oh, what did I?
Semantic highlighting.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So here we have the HTTP function. It's similar to .NET. So we have namespaces and references here, I assume. Then we import another namespace, then a class, and then we have a function with a name called HTTP example. So I think that's annotations. I think annotations are fairly new to Java, which is nice. And then down here, we just take the information that comes either from the query parameters or the body. So if somebody does a get or a post, and then we take that information and then we pass it back. If the name is missing from either the body or the query parameters, then we send a body request back. But if it's successful, then we send a hello with your name.
So just like the C sharp, just like the C sharp one when it first fires up, right? Like when just the standard
exactly.
one. Cool.
And I like the consistency, right? However, there is something different for Java, which we don't have in .NET, and that's a test project.
Oh.
So when you, let me see, let's expand this one. So this is a function test .java, and it tests our HTTP trigger. So it will pass the name, it passes Azure for the name, and then it grabs the information, and then it expects to call the message, and then we assert that the return value is an HTTP OK, which is nice. And we are also mocking the message.
Oh, nice. Wow.
It is nice. Although the first time I started working with that one, I was like, oh, that's brilliant. We have, there's a mock and we can run the test, which is great because in .NET, we don't really have tests up front when you create a .NET based function. But at the same time, I found it a little bit annoying because as I was adding code, I had to, and we'll see it here, like as we add more code, we have to go and fix the tests. People that do test-driven development will go, yeah, duh, that's the whole point of having tests. But for someone that is new, like if I want to just get off the ground and make it work, then having to learn about how the testing framework also works on top of everything else, it was a little bit much. But anyway, let's run our function and see what happens. So I'm going to, you must have an Azure Functions tools installed. But do you have that? I thought the Azure Functions installed it for us, but apparently it did not. Also, it's missing from the docs because it does not say anything about the core tools for Azure Functions. Let's go and get them.
Do they not come along with the Azure Functions tools?
That's what I would have expected, but apparently it's not.
What happened to Bing's logo?
Oh, did something? Yeah, it's definitely not there, right? What happened to Bing's logo?
Yeah, look at it. Oh. What is that?
It got corporatized.
Oh no!
It got corporatized. Yeah. Like my old manager used to say, Microsoft is not. It's a branded house, not a house of brands.
It's pretty good.
DevLead is like, just grab that one and install it there. Thank you, DevLead, because he put it on the chat. The problem is I don't think I have a node installed. So there you go.
Oh, you'll need that too. But
do you want to work with Java? Yes. Now go and install Node.
Well, that's for the core tools to work.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like all these dependencies that you have to go and download and make sure that they're available just to get you off the ground. So what? We're 30 minutes in. We're still installing dependencies, but we're good. We're good. I like it. It's like you should use Choco install. Yes. You know what? Maybe next time, DevLead, we'll do a session where you come on the show and show us how we can be faster with actually using Choco tools. That would be nice. Let's install this one. So we installed our Java dependencies. We installed the Java JDK and the Maven tools. We have the Azure Function tooling, and now we need to install Node in order to install the Azure Core tools.
Do the core tools not install it for you? I thought they did. Maybe not. But
apparently they were not. I did copy the message, but I don't know if. It doesn't let me do it, so I have to type it. npm.
You'll probably,
of course, it's not.
Yeah, your path's changed, so you probably have to.
Yeah, tell me about it. npm should be there now. Bingo. npm IG for global Azure Functions core tools version 3 stash unsafe. That makes me feel so safe now, right? Warm and fuzzy inside. Thank you, DevLead, for saving me the trouble of finding the command. But yeah, it's annoying, right? I would have expected the Azure extensions to have installed the core tools.
Well, maybe they figure, I don't know.
But if you're installing,
I always end up in a place where I've got like 3 different versions of the core tool. So I've got the one I installed on my own. I've got the one that came with Visual Studio, and I get the one that goes along with, or well, at least I thought there was a third one that came along with this. So.
Right. Fun. Testing it. There you go.
Choco install.
The core tools are.
Choco install Azure Functions core tools.
Go. Right. So now, hopefully, if we run it, we may need to close and open again. Yes. Fine. I will close and open again because Visual Studio Code could not pick up the fact that we already had installed, or we just installed the tooling. So without further ado, let's test it again and see what happens. Also, it's a bit weird. It says attach.
You probably have to restart it.
I did restart.
Visual Studio Code?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Are they in the path?
Wow. Enable. Yeah, it's supposed to be in the path.
What if you open a terminal in here?
Oh, here. Yeah.
Control Shift tilde.
Install. I did. Yeah. Thank you.
Did you install Docker?
I did not. I don't know how Docker came. What?
Doesn't look like it's in the. Doesn't look like it's there. It's weird.
Yeah, but it was in the. It was inside our command line.
What?
So that's
I
weird
think it's
now.
what find func. Or maybe not. There's a
Where funk?
Well, maybe we just need to manually add it to your path, for at least for now, just so you don't have to worry about it.
Probably. Oh, it might be somewhere here, right? Platform. Oh, maybe there's a hanging process from VS Code that did not
Could be.
terminate.
Although your where didn't return anything, which is kind of strange too.
Is this supposed what? So
Yeah, do
where SPW.
no
S.
func.
Yeah, I know, but I was thinking about testing
Oh yeah.
PowerShell or something else. What else can I test? Where PWSH? What's the PowerShell thingy?
Do
command func.
do CMD first. Do CMD in here to get to a command line.
And I'll do CMD. Oh, there you go.
Okay, so it's there.
Get command. Yeah, it is there.
Well, that's a PowerShell script though. Go to a command line like just a CMD here.
Yes.
And see if you can. I mean, you can do it from within PowerShell window. It's fine too. But do a where func on here. Okay, so it's there. So maybe Visual Studio had something hanging.
Let's see task manager. PWSH. Interesting. I thought I had it right. Let's see if there's anything hanging from. No. It seems to be clean. Let's try again.
All right.
Don't let me down, code. You can do it. Come on.
Look at
Massive.
look at your. Is there a VS? Look in your VS folder, the .vs code folder, and let's see if there's some sort of a.
You mean the settings?
Well, for your workspace settings, to see if one of the launch configs is incorrect.
Workspace. Oh, Workbench. No, that's not the one. Is there no way to? Oh, there you go. Workspace.
I don't know where it would be in here. I've only seen it in the launch.json, I think.
What are we looking here?
Look in your file tree. Your files for your app. Like the on the left. Like the files of your app all the way on the left.
All the way on the left. Right.
And
Okay.
then look under VS Code.
Oh, you mean those ones?
The VS Code folder.
The VS Code.
Look under launch. Yeah, it's just Funk.
Funk cluster.
So I wonder why it's not. I wonder why it's not.
Well, let's bring up the. It does take forever to. No, I don't want sticky keys. Terminal is taking a while to load. There you go. So we should be able to do Funk host start. Huh. Maybe we just need to add into the path. Maybe it's not been added to the path. Although.
I'm looking. There's actually an issue about this from a few months ago.
Huh. Isn't it fun? Interestingly enough, on my other VM, when I installed that one, it did not create any issues, or it did not have any issues. And I don't think I installed the dot source it. Somebody's asking, did you dot source it? No, I did not did source my VM. I just got a clean VM, 62-bit versus 32-bit. I thought I installed the right version of Node. I think it was what did we get? Installed that one. That was a 64 MSI. And then we ran the command for installing the tools, right? So that was the npm command. I don't know if it's here. There you go. So we install that one. I would say I'm going to add the library here. Try funk.funk ps1. We can try that.
Wait, hang on. Go back.
How far back? Here? I think we can. Let's check our environment paths to make sure that this one is there, right?
Well, there's a CMD file, right, for Windows. There's essentially like a bootstrapper, if you want to call it that. Where is that one? That should be in roaming npm funk. There should be funk.cmd.
So C.
Which I'm fairly certain is in the bin.
Users.
Yeah, do the where again in the command line to find it.
Oh no! What the?
Not in PowerShell, because it's not going to find the right one.
Command line. Okay.
Yeah, so it's an app data roaming npm funk.
And
that's, obviously it's in your path because it's working here. So why doesn't Visual Studio Code see it?
So that's the interesting thing is get command funk. That returns. That's the same, right? Is it the same?
That looks like a PowerShell wrapper for it because it's funk.ps1. So hang on. Let's see why.
Someone says, I think you need to dot source it. C path to funk ps1. Do this. Okay.
What, in your launch?
Yeah, Richard. Richard's like, I'm not trolling. Let's see. Yeah, I think something weird happened here during the installation because usually it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to mess with that. PS1. So Richard says, do C:// path to funk.ps1.
He's saying in your launch.json, do a dot.
Ah, that's what he means. Escape inside. Right. Gotcha. Gotcha now. So here, get launch. Oh, dot.
Well, so other
This?
slash, forward slash. A forward whack.
I like how we were struggling to. Yep.
Yep. Okay, run.
Right. Let's see.
See if you can attach now. No. Okay, just put the full.
No.
Just put the whole path to it. Or yeah, command
Yeah.
command forward slash C func.
Like
No,
this?
no, just a forward slash and then C.
Ah,
Yeah, try that.
I don't think I've seen this before.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, the colon's kind of weird too. I've never seen that colon before. Take out the colon.
MDC.
Just take out the colon after func.
Ah. We still need this one, right?
No. Get rid of just put it back to the way it was. Just get rid of the colon. So just func host start.
Gotcha. Yep.
Nope.
No, because I don't think he was able to find the.
And when you run this, what does it say? That it can't find the core tools when you run it like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I think we just need to put the full path there and see what happens, right?
Yeah, put the full path there.
Just gonna do that. Do we need to escape it?
Yeah. Just two back. Just yeah.
Also, yeah, I don't remember seeing the column before. Let's see what happens. Could not
take
find
the
it?
take the colon out of it.
Is that what we had before?
Yep.
I think
Try
VS Code.
Try func.cmd.
Is it func.cmd though?
.cmd, yeah.
So is the configuration there hiding, saving, and running? That is super weird. Open launch.json. There you go. Well, let me just go to that path and see what we have there. So we have func.
Yeah, there's func.cmd and func.ps1.
Yeah, so let me do so name extension.
Wait. Go back. Put that back to just func colon host start in your launch.json.
Here?
Yep. Func colon host start and nothing else. Because we have to define func over in another file. Files are free apparently, so we can have as many of them as we want. Go back to your file list, like your tree.
Here. Yep.
And look at tasks.
Func host start.
So that's func host start. Okay. So scroll down. I think this is the only task in here. Yes, that's
2.
So that's the clean. Okay. So go back up. So our task here is host start on func. Let's see. That's our path to here. So it's no big deal. Oh, that's weird.
It is.
Richard says we should
Unblock
unblock
the
the
file.
files. Well, you can do it.
How do you unblock the file?
There's a PowerShell command to do it. It's unblock GCI pipe unblock dash file. That's usually what I do in PowerShell.
Hit me again.
GCI. Well, not here. You want to do it in the func folder. If that's where they're blocked. I don't know if they'd be blocked there or not. It seems kind of strange, but.
In there then?
Yeah, do GCI. GCI-R for recursive. Pipe. Unblock -file.
This one?
Yep. All right. They're all unblocked. So you can try run it again.
So we restart VS Code?
Yeah, I don't know. Something's not right here. Something doesn't seem right in VS Code. Like almost as if it's almost as if it's reading like a different. Did you use the system installer or the user installer for Visual Studio Code? I think if you look at help about, it'll tell you.
Okay, let me just restart VS Code.
Because something.
Worst case scenario, we can install the preview one or the insiders build.
Do help about.
Help. About.
And this is so it's a user setup. So that's fine. It's okay. So.
Why VS Code? Why? We have so many exciting things to do this morning. What?
Oh, now it works. Just had to restart a few times. That's all.
Yeah.
Maybe some other file was blocked somewhere. Actually, no. It probably was. Maybe it was Maven because the zip file, because it was just a zip that you downloaded, right? And
no, I don't think it was Maven. Because we tested Maven.
And zips get zip. If a zip file's blocked at download, then by extension, all the files that are extracted out of it get blocked too. So maybe that's what it was. Although we didn't do an unblock. We only did the unblock on Node, so or on Funk. So I don't know. Exciting stuff.
You're running the task pack now, right? Yeah. We're actually running.
Yep.
The function, you'll see 7 tasks out of 7. Oh snap!
Well, hold on.
Failed.
Hold on. Yeah, that's fine. Cancel this and go back and allow that through. It looks like execution. We probably need to change our execution policy too. And the network that we're on. But I'd scroll up just a little bit in this error window. So Funk can't be loaded because running scripts is disabled. So go to open up an elevated command or an elevated PowerShell, and do a set execution policy, remote signed.
Is it set execution policy?
Set dash execution policy. You can just tab complete it, and then space tab to remote signed. You don't even need a dash.
A remote sign?
No, just there you go, and you can tab to have it fill. Okay, now let's run it again.
Run it. Let's see what happens. So it should take less time now to pack everything again.
Well, I think it's cleaning it. I think it cleans it every time. Oh, it's running the test. That's right.
Yes, running the test.
Okay.
It is running the tests now. 7 steps out of 7. And then it will spin up. Oh, come on. What does it say? Failed to attach remote VM. Connection refused.
Okay. Look in this terminal and see if there are any errors further up.
This terminal up here?
Yeah. Any errors? No. Look under
oh, there you go.
Well, I think that was ours from earlier?
That was the previous one, yes.
Okay, so here's our clean. All right. So
yep.
Okay.
Everything seems to be fine here. And then the first one is cannot be loaded because running scripts. Is that the? Oh, that's
same
still
one.
the same.
Okay, try just restart. Restart Visual Studio Code.
The staple of the IT pros and developers.
Should we put a scope on that execution policy of local machine? Although it should still be for the user, and this is the user, right?
Yes.
Because you can't set the execution policy yourself. You have to be elevated to set the policy. Although maybe you... Actually, no, I guess you don't have to elevate to set your local one for just you. Oh, Christ on a bike. Now we're back here again.
What is it today's stream? Come on. You know, worst comes to worst, I'm going to spin up to the other VM that everything is working, honest to God. But for now, let's give it one more go. Like it almost feels like VS Code is loading, but it's not loading correctly. Switch task.
Hey, before you do that, go back to PWSH, back to this window, and
Yeah.
just do that same go
Windows.
do that same command again. Well, okay, never mind. It's gone now. So
You want PowerShell. You want PowerShell, right? You said PWS. That wasn't PowerShell. Was it PowerShell?
I meant the elevated one, but do set execution policy here, remote signed, and set the scope to current user. There's a scope. Yeah, current user. Do that one.
Does it really make a difference? I would do that. I would do the machine policy.
Well, yeah. We did the machine policy last time because isn't the default when you do it from an elevated window? Isn't the default local machine for the scope, Richard? Oh, I guess I'm wrong. If there's anybody I would trust in PowerShell, it's AZ Wildfire. So it lives and breathes PowerShell.
True. Let's see what kind of error message is going to throw this time. Oh, that is incredible.
Okay, then let's just completely absolve ourselves of all security. Open an elevated command or elevated PowerShell window, and
oh yeah, that was a good question. So what happens if I func? Yeah, it doesn't seem to be picking it up. That is super weird. Okay, what do you want me to do on the elevated one?
Set execution policy, remote signed. Scope, local machine.
Scope like this, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, local machine. You can, and tab will complete it. All right.
Close and start again.
Yeah, but why? I don't understand why it worked before and now it doesn't. Because you weren't opening VS Code with a different user or anything, were you?
No. They're wrong. So here. I need some coffee. I'm dying here. I'll put a lunch on that. Oh, it says, I bet it downloaded all the files and they need to be unblocked again.
We didn't unblock any files. That's what. Well, we unblocked the func runtime. Right click on func.
Correct.
Right click on func.ps1 right here, and go to properties in your file explorer. Let's see if it's blocked. It's not blocked. Try func.cmd and the func above it.
Okay.
Next time we're we're 6 feet away from each other, AZ Wildfire, we can get some lunch. I don't know when that'll be. I'll just throw a sandwich towards your face.
That's a new way of saying lunch, right?
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Let's see what happens here. If this doesn't work, then we'll switch to the VM that is actually working, because I think there's something freaky happening here that I haven't come across this one before. Yeah. Right. So, let's. Yeah. See, I don't know. There were any. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So, are we okay to switch machines, JP?
Well, hang on. I'm kind of curious as to why your machine is so broken. Open your task manager.
Look at that. He can't let go.
I can't.
He can't. Right?
What version of Windows are you using, by the way?
It's 1809.
1809. That's like 400 versions old.
Yes, but this is the default image that you get when you spin up a Windows 10 machine.
Wow.
1809.
Okay.
Installed fresh yesterday. Like, we're not going to run Windows updates now.
Okay, so there are no... What is security DSMS master? What on earth is that? Is this...
Are you sure you want to poke that bear?
Wait a minute. Is this an MSIT image? Is this like does this join to, like, domain join to work?
Maybe something weird happened yesterday when I was trying to download the Windows terminal, and I used my work
No,
account.
don't end it. I'm wondering where that Qualys Cloud agent came from. Is that something? That's not something we're pushing on boxes. We're not pushing that on VMs. But yeah, I guess yeah. It looks like scroll down. Just look for anything VS Code related. Let's just start there. Um, Visual Studio Live Share Agent. That's one that could be holding something open. I'll just kill that.
Oh, that's the agent that runs the background if you want to do code spaces.
Oh, well, I'm wondering if it's holding something else open.
Could be. Oh, it could be.
Okay, this is
Nothing else here. These are all
services.
Windows
Keep on going.
services. Oh, really?
Yeah, there should be
Let
more.
me go all the way down. There is more. Windows biometric. I don't see anything Visual Studio Code related. Solving the mystery that is.
Go up 2 or 3 clicks just to the console window hosts, and
Yeah.
right click on the name here. And
What do you want? Properties?
no. I want to know the command that started it. So right click on the name or view maybe.
I've got resource values, memory, disk, network.
In the main
Create them.
in the main menu, like the main top menu of task
Ah,
manager.
okay. View.
Or sorry, right click one of the columns.
Here.
Yeah, and do process or command line. Okay, and scroll these over. I guess there's probably not going to be much there, but
It says network SVC hosts. One of them is for network and
okay.
local system.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, sorry. You can further down. There.
And so if you open up a command line, or if you open up a PowerShell prompt, you can run func, right? That works fine.
Yeah. So opening up function now. Sorry, PowerShell. Then I can run func.
Okay.
And you get everything.
Run Windows PowerShell. Because this is like separate.
The old funky one. Yes. The Windows PowerShell.
Run that from here. Now set your execution policy unrestricted. Or you have to do it from an elevated window to set it for the whole machine.
Yeah.
You can right click on the Windows button and get to it too. But yeah, do your set execution policy remote signed local scope local machine in here, because I'm 99% certain that we're using Windows PowerShell, not PowerShell 7 that was installed separately.
Sorry, remote sign scope.
Local machine.
What is it?
Yep. Or A. Okay, now open code again, and let's see if we get anywhere even remotely closer than we did last time. And if we didn't from there, DevLead says just copy the whole project somewhere else, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah.
Oh, God.
We wonder why.
Well, wait a minute. We didn't actually test this one. We didn't test the func.
Yeah, there
Oh,
it
it
is.
works.
Yeah.
I'll open it one more time, just in case it didn't load. That is so
I guess you could reboot this box, seeing as we installed 30 things on it, but hang on. There's a thing in there.
I know. Type the wrong thing.
Comma
there. Save that, and then try to run it. Yeah, I think there's something freaky broken with code. Right, I am going to say we'll switch machines because we have a working box that can do it for us, and I want to unblock us from being stuck here with this machine and troubleshooting the machine rather than actually showing Java code.
Well, here,
should we take
why don't you reboot this box, go get a cup of coffee, and then we'll come back and see if it works one more time. And if it doesn't work, then we'll pull the cord and go to the other box. But reboot this one at least. And we'll go get a cup of coffee, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. In what?
Everyone.
5 minutes, we'll be back.
Yeah.
All right.
5 minutes.
All right, we'll see you
soon.
in just a couple minutes. Hang on, I got to change the text. Back in 5 minutes. Completely arbitrary because it depends on when you see it. All right. See everybody in a few minutes. All right.
You know what? Maybe it was the Microsoft policies, right?
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yep, it's up.
Showing.
Yep, you're back.
Am I saying the whole thing?
Yeah. Well, no, you're sharing the VM. So we're back. We're good.
We're good. Awesome.
Yep. All right. You got your VM rebooted. Let's run it again, just out of a morbid curiosity, and see if it works.
I went too fast and then I loaded the wrong thing. Right. Okay. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
We're here. Let's go to the debug. Hasn't failed yet. Hasn't complained. Working it.
The suspense is terrible.
Suspense is terrible. What is it doing now?
Look at your output.
Nothing.
It's your terminal.
Still thinking about it.
All right. This is running.
And cleaning.
Okay, so at least it found it. It seems like this time. Let's see if it can run it this time.
It's like, stop poking me, right? The VM. Just saying, stop poking me. You installed so many things.
Maybe we should have done it on an Ubuntu VM.
Yeah, that could have been an option. Maybe next time we show Node or React, maybe we do it on a Ubuntu VM. Or if I want to trigger you, I can just say, let's do. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
allow access.
okay, so we're closer.
We're cooking.
All right. Well, still.
No, we're not closer. We made it.
Well. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So now let's hit your endpoint.
We got the endpoint. Opening the browser for now. I've installed Postman because we'll need Postman later on to test the auth bit.
Okay. Yeah, so funny enough, right? So rebooting always helps, and so we were in Michigan last month, right? Visiting my wife's family, and I was at her sister-in-law's, and they're like, "The TV's broken. The TV's not working," right? And so I went in there. Oh, good, it works. So I went in there, and it's cool. It's like a Samsung TV, but it's got this box that sits down like on the shelf, and the box is what you plug everything into, so you don't have to wrestle a bunch of HDMI cables behind your TV. And the TV hadn't worked for like a month, and they had all sorts of people come over. And oh wait, let me see. I wonder if I can play my horn and if it'll go through the. And I just pulled the power from it and restarted the little remote box, and the TV started working again. I mean, it's like, it's if you are capable of rebooting a device, people will think it's magic.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. Downloads. Where's my? I did download Postman. There you go.
Okay.
2 of them. Right. Let's. So we have a working function right now, which is great. While Postman installs in the background. Let me just stop the disconnect. Actually, the debugger one for Java has a nice feature called reloads. So you don't have to rebuild everything. If you change the code a little bit, it allows you to not recompile, I suppose, and it runs magically. So, function Java. We have everything we need here. Let me close the command for now. We have everything we need. The code should be big enough there. Good.
Yeah, it looks big enough.
And we now want to add authentication to this one, right? So we need something that comes in, a request with an authenticated token. We can grab the token from the request, and then look at it and make sure everything is the token is valid, and then we're good to go. So the first thing we should do is grab the token, I suppose, right, from the HTTP request. Assuming there's a token, right?
Yeah, I guess we need to find the header and see if an authorization header got sent.
Yeah. So how do we do that? I would say I'll look for headers in HTTP request Java. How to get HTTP request headers in Java?
So what kind of incoming object do we have in our function?
It's an HTTP request, right?
Is it an HTTP?
Oh, you mean it's an HTTP? I think there's an HTTP request message.
All right, so let's go look at that and see what we get. See what's hanging off of that. Get headers.
Get headers.
Look at that.
Beautiful. So let's create a new function, right? Or a new method. And we'll follow the public. And our token will be a string, I suppose, right? So it should be public string get of token. And we're passing the HTTP request message. Where's the HTTP request?
It's a message, HTTP request message.
Request message.
It looks like it's it looks like it's of an optional type string. I don't know in Java if you have to if the types are going to match or not. If that one's optional.
And then, headers. What are the headers going to be? See, what is the object? There you go. It's a map. I guess like a dictionary for .NET. There's no var, unfortunately. I tested the last time. Like, damn, I got so used in vars. There's a pain that you have to be explicit here. So map headers equals rec dot get headers, right?
Yep, get headers, yep.
Beautiful. Look at that. We're cooking. I think we need to resolve something. Yeah, that's that there. And then we need to resolve this one.
Import map.
Import job util.
Okay.
Nice. And then from here, we need to look at the headers. It's a string. So I suppose we just need to like auth. So that'll be what?
Probably something on the
String?
headers object. Yeah, it's a string.
Equals headers. So, is there a get?
Yep.
Get. Go. Get. Then we say, I want to get. Oh, that's the authorization.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's lowercase or uppercase. I think it's lowercase, and I got caught by that one before.
It should be. It should be uppercase. Should be capitalized.
Ah, now you say that. Why is it complaining here? Uncheck conversion. The expression of type map is uncheck conversion.
I think. Well, I think the types are different because you're passing in an HTTP request message, but the type is HTTP request message optional string.
Oh, that's what you mean, right?
I'm not entirely I'm not entirely certain.
I did not fully qualify. All right, okay. Let's see. Well done, sir. And this is you're not using it anywhere else. Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a get auth token somewhere here.
Well, we got to return the value too, right?
Yeah, true. But return auth header. Well, now this one will get the full header, right? So this one gets the it does return a string. Okay.
Yeah, you've got to split on a space to get bearer out of the front of it.
Yes. It's so much faster to return a constant. Yeah, it is. But is there string dot split? Type this morning, but there's no string dot split. Let's find out. How do we get?
I don't think it's capitalized.
It is everything in string next string split. Oh, do you think it's like the auth? So this would be auth header dot split. There you go.
Although that's a regex. Oh, maybe there's a different.
Yeah, let's find before we dive into regexes because you have two problems. You add regexes, now you have three problems. Java string.split. String split methods. It actually takes a regular expression. Is that for real? How to split a string in Java?
Oh no, there's a split that has that's the limit. Oh,
you get an array of string. Yeah, there you go. This would be. Yeah, I think you can do.
Oh yeah, you can just do a split on the space with no limit. So string.split and then no limit, just 0.
What do you need to pass 0?
You may not have to pass anything.
And then dot first. Nah. First or default. Where's my link? Come on, people. I need some link here. Right. Okay. And that returns a string array.
I think you do need a limit on it. Oh, maybe not. Okay.
I don't think you need a limit. We'll find out.
And then we need the second. We need the second one.
Okay. Yeah. So return token 1. How about them apples? What do you think?
Okay.
Right. So that would be get auth token rec, and it's a.
I think it's request, like the full word.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, string token equals, obviously. Yeah, we're not using it anywhere, but it's fine. You know, we can put a breakpoint here. So what I'm going to do now is, has this been installed? No, I don't want to sign in. Do I need to
It's
sign
at the
in?
very bottom. Skip signing in and take me straight to the app. All the way at the bottom.
Yes. So faint, right? Like so little, you can't see it. Ah, dark mode. Everything dark. Can we make it bigger? Ah, nice. Control plus allows you to make it bigger. Right, so let's do new request.
Yeah, Java arrays are 0 indexed. So somebody had asked. So, yeah.
Real, I need the collection first before. Ah, come on. 0 index. New collection. Test. Really. Next one. Request. There you go. New request. I don't care right now. What? There you go. Now, if we run the function, it will fail. Can somebody tell me why?
Wait, what? What was your question?
If we run the function right now, it will fail. Can somebody tell me why?
Well, you don't have an authorization header, right?
No. I mean, you can pass random stuff, right?
Well, but you're going to get. I would imagine it's going to blow up because you're going to be passing it. You're trying to split on an object that doesn't exist.
No.
Oh.
It's gonna break because the stupid tests require you to add the stuff there. So if you change this needs to be tested. So it says there are test failures. So we're going to fix the test. Isn't that lovely? Right. I was looking for a way to bypass or remove the tests, but then I didn't want to be that invasive. So let's go and fix our tests. So down here, HTTP response. We need to have a get. So headers does that. So header. What do we need? I think we need a. What does it say? White failed. There are test failures.
It's which test is failing.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you which test is failing.
Go up a little bit. I think it tells you a little higher up.
Okay.
Test it.
Function.
The function test. Test HTTP trigger Java. So it's
this one. It's this
test
one. Test HTTP trigger Java,
yep.
Right? Because we need something to mock the get auth headers.
Well, not necessarily, right? Because this is what this test is doing is setting a new query parameter of name for Azure so that it sends in the right data. So
correct.
What we probably want to do is add a query parameter. So pretty much the same thing that's happening right there on line 30, like query params.put. We want to add a second one to the headers. So we need to get the headers and then add a header to it. So this one is doing a new hash map.
We do final map string, comma string, headers, auth header. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Headers equals new hash map. Then, yeah, I can't even type string. Thank you for the autocorrect. And then we say headers dot put We want authorization. And we want bearer. Blah. You determine. What? You got a thought there. Headers.
Yeah, and then a dot when rec dot, I guess, get headers, because that's ultimately that's the method that we're mocking here, right? Is the get headers method on our request object.
Oh, that's a good point. So that'll be rec, right?
So so it's a dot when, and then the rec. Just like the other ones, only instead of like get body or get query parameters, it'll be get headers. Okay.
That didn't go in the right place.
Okay. So now our token value should be blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we can find that out by debugging it. So we have a breakpoint there. Let's kick it off and see what happens. Did it say error? No, that was before. Okay.
Our test should pass, right? Because we're not going to blow up, and then we'll need the. Correct. So then what do we have left to do? We've got to verify the token or validate it, and then we need to return like a 401 if there is no token.
Correct.
Okay.
It's going to fail to attach. What? No. No, you're still running. I don't believe you. So here we need to add a header, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go and add a header. I'll make it look like a token.
Well, there are no spaces.
Did I put a space?
No, we need.
No, it did cards.
Well, we need a space because we're splitting on a space. Because the.
Oh, it's better, right? It's better.
Because you need the scheme at the beginning. Yep.
Okay, so should be send.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. And we have it up here.
Cool.
Check that out.
All right, nice.
There you go. Let's let it run. Now let's go and add MSAL4J. What is MSAL4J, JP?
What are we using MSAL4J for?
Well, I was going to use MSAL4J to call into graph. So it will do two things for us. I mean, we don't have to use MSAL4J. We can use an OpenID Connect provider and then just validate against Azure AD. But I thought since we're calling graph, we can do kill two birds with one stone and actually use MSAL4J to validate our token and do the call to graph.
Okay, so
I mean, we can do the other thing if you want to.
No. I didn't know we were going to call graph, but I guess I forgot. So if we're going to call graph,
you put it on the description.
Yeah, it's been a long morning. That was a long time ago.
It's been a long morning.
That was a long time ago.
Right. So MSAL4J Maven. All right, let's go back into MSAL4J maybe first. So for people that don't know, MSAL is the authentication and token library for Java, Microsoft authentication library. And we have one for .NET, we have one for Node, we have one for Java, and let's see, it goes here. And it requires Java 8 or higher. And the easiest way to add it is by doing this. So we grab the dependency for Maven. And see, this is also a document for migrating from ADAL, which is a good segue to say that ADAL is going to be sunsetted in 2 years. Is it 2 years? 2022, yeah. June 2022, there will be no more ADAL. So if you are using ADAL in your projects, make sure you upgrade to MSAL. We don't have to because we're using MSAL from the beginning. So here we want to go to our pom.xml. XML extension, I don't know, I don't want it. No, I'm not playing with XML. And down here, there are the dependencies. As you can see, we want to add our dependency. Check that out. Formatting is all over the place. Make it nice.
So
the nice thing with
so this is going to get us a token to talk to. This is going to let us do it on behalf of flow to graph, right?
Correct.
But we're still not. We still haven't validated our token for the app itself, right? For the API itself.
Correct.
Which we still have to do sort of separately, right? We still have to do that in a separate mechanism.
Yes.
Because I am 99% certain that MSAL will not validate the token, the incoming token.
Also, we'll do just a pass-through.
Well, that's the second part of that request, right? So, like, so we have the incoming request that hits the API with a bearer token that we got by a user signing in.
Correct.
So that token itself is scoped for the application. And then that application, your API, is going to need to request a separate token for graph on behalf of the user. So
correct.
One step of that is I've called the API. The second step is we go and use that to get a token for the user. So on one hand, if you don't validate the token in your code and just assume that it's okay, we're going to send that down to Azure AD, and Azure AD is going to try to use that we're going to try to use that against Azure AD to get a token for the graph. So on the one hand, maybe that's okay, because if the token's bad, then you're not going to get a graph token. On the other hand, it means that anyone can send a token to you, regardless of where it came from, and your app will consume it as if it's valid.
So Devlead is asking something which is interesting. He says, doesn't MS Graph SDK Java handle much of these? Yes, unfortunately, the Graph SDK, and that triggered JP last week. I remember when I said that to him, he was like, what? So the Graph SDK for Java actually has its own auth provider. So if we look for Graph SDK for Java, if we look at here in the using the instructions, does it have you need an authentication provider by default. There's no way for us to be able to instantiate a graph client in Java without an auth provider. And currently, their auth providers do not take a token. So if I said, hey, my user has already authenticated in the front end, whatever is React, .NET, or whatever, and it passes that token into my API, now my API needs to call into Graph. If I were using the SDK, I had to redo the whole thing again. I had to actually create an authentication provider. Probably would be a silent one where it goes and uses a secret and a client ID or an app ID to authenticate, and then it will do the flow, which is annoying because that does the authentication twice in the flow, and I think that's wrong. But at the time that the library was created, the SDK for a Graph, the MSAL4J was not out yet. So it wasn't mature enough to be used, and that's the reason why we have this kind of a broken flow. I spoke to the Graph team, and they're actually addressing that as we speak. So hopefully, in the coming releases, we will have the ability to pass a token into the Graph client and do it. Also, if we're only doing one call to the Graph from this function, I don't want to bring down the whole SDK. If we were building in a more involved kind of a solution, I think that's what JP and me always tend to talk about. If you're just building a small function that calls into Graph once, then bringing down the whole SDK is probably a bit of a pain or too much overhead. But yeah, you can definitely do it, especially if you're only doing a call to Graph. Then you can skip the whole MSAL4J and then just use the Graph client with the Graph SDK.
But
we're not doing this here.
What it also doesn't do, though, is it's sort of purely for accessing the Graph. And in our case, we have an API that's accessing the Graph. So if I was building a web app, for example, or building some other, like a mobile app or something like that, that only talk to the Graph SDK may be sufficient. But what you're taking is your app is sort of taking on the fact that you're authenticating to Graph as its own sort of authentication scheme, right? So you're signing into this app, and that app has permissions to go talk to the Graph on your behalf. And then in this case, where we're doing on behalf of, we have no sort of user interactivity. So we're going to be relying on some other application generating or requesting a token. We're going to submit that,
Yes.
and the token that gets submitted is the ID token for this app, for this API. And then we're going to turn around and use that in the API. It's going to turn around and take that and use that to request an access token for Graph from itself. But in that whole flow, we haven't done authorization in our application and our API to say, is this user authorized to use, does this user have a valid token to connect to this API? And so that's why that's why there are kind of two steps to this. The first one being, first we've got to validate the token, and then secondly, we're going to go talk to Graph. And because the Graph SDK doesn't have a way yet for us to say, I've already acquired a token, please go and use it, we have to do it. We have to make manual HTTP calls to go and do it. There's another package called MS Graph SDK Java Core, which I just saw, and Core gives you a little bit more flexibility. You're essentially creating HTTP clients yourself, but they also still take auth providers. I suppose you could override and build your own auth provider that takes in a token, but at least for right now, because that ends up being just as verbose as just building an HTTP request up from scratch anyway, especially for single calls. So in our case for today, we've still got these two discrete tasks that we have to complete. And if we tried we don't have a good entry point into the Graph SDK when we've already gotten a token by alternate means. So
Yes. Now, definitely it also says, like, usually the Java SDKs are geared towards Android and mobile apps. So it may be a little bit heavy for a function because we only need a header to the REST call if we're calling Graph directly. But if you're using it in a mobile app, then it makes sense. I agree. And now we totally forgot one section here. So since we are going to be interacting with Azure AD, and since we're going to be interacting with MS Graph, we need app registrations in Azure AD to allow us to talk to Azure. So. Should we create new ones, or should we use existing ones? I think let's create new ones, right?
Yeah, because they're going to need two. And yes. I'll be right back. BRB.
Java service app. We need to create two app registrations. One will be for actually for the function app to be able to communicate with Azure AD and for Graph and get the data out. And we also need one for the client. Now the client, there can be multiple client registrations, one for your mobile app, one for your web app, one for your console app, all calling to the same API app registration. So let's create the API app registration first. And then here we want to do just organizational only for now, not multi-tenanted. We're not going to give it a redirect URI. So that's created now. First, we need, let's create the API permissions. So here we're going to add, there you go. We already have Microsoft Graph.read. I'll leave it like this for now. I'm not sure if we need to change this or if we want to test any other data. Does anybody want to test any other data from Graph rather than my user profile? I don't know, emails, calendar. Put it on the chat if you have any other requests, but for now, I'll keep this one. Now, very important, we need to grant consent here because our API, our function API is going to call into the Graph, but there's no way for the flow to interact with the user. So the call to the Graph needs to be already consented. Otherwise, the user can't consent to the permissions, and therefore it will fail the call. So we need to make sure that this is consented upfront. We also need to expose our API, right? So when another app, a client app, calls into our function, then the function needs to expose those permissions, and we need to configure them inside our client app. So here we are going to use an app ID URI. We'll go with the default. and then we need to add a scope. And in here, the scope can be anything that you want, as long as it's consistent. We're going to use access as user. That's our default for most of the access as user. We're going to say admin and users should be able to access that, and then access the app as a user. And then I'm going to copy that across all the 4 windows or text boxes. Enable, yes. Add the scope, yes. So there you have it, all here now. What else do we need here? We got the API permissions sorted. We have the expose API sorted. The one thing we need is a client secret. And we need a secret in order for us to be able to authenticate silently and validate tokens silently. So I'm going to add one. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to stick it somewhere in, say, Notepad, because we will need it. I'm going to add the details here.
Okay, sorry, I'm back.
In fact, I'm going... Hey, you're back?
Yeah, too much cold caffeine, I guess.
Oh. Sometimes I feel like that when we do our stream. Right, I'm gonna grab this one. That's the API permission. I'm going to add my my app ID or the client ID. And I need I can't remember if I need my tenant ID, but we'll add it anyway.
And this is for the API, right?
Yes, that's for the API. I explained what we did so far. We created the. I asked if anybody wanted to see something else other than the user read information, and nobody said anything, so I kept that as default.
Okay.
We exposed the API, so we created a access as user specific scope that will need to be passed by the client. And then we added a secret, so we can authenticate silently against the... That's interesting. I thought that was gone. Check this out.
No, you haven't left the blade.
Oh, you didn't leave the blade. Right. I did leave. I thought it goes away.
Not the whole blade.
Fine. There you go. So here, that's all we need for the API registration. Now let's go and create our client. The one registration that will be used by our client app to call into the function API. So Java client app. Here we're going to actually add the, let's see, auth. I'm going to, because we're using this, if I say get access token. Oh, what is the default one? Can't remember. Do you remember, JP, for... what does the callback
you
URL?
You just use localhost. It doesn't matter.
Are you sure? HTTP localhost?
Sure.
No, that I thought it expected a specific return array.
I think that's only when you do it in the browser. Because in the browser it's sort of separate from Postman.
Gotcha. So we have the client app. Now in the client app, all we need to do is say, I need to be able to access my API. I am not going to need my graph here, so I'm going to remove this one. What? No, I wanted to edit, remove all permissions from here. And then I want to add a permission, but in this case, I'm going to go to my APIs. And here we are on the Java service app. I'm going to click on the access as user, add the permission. I'm not going to grant admin consent here because we will be able to interact via Postman and approve that, so we can see the consent flow. I don't think we need anything else other than that, right?
Just client ID.
Just the client ID.
And
that is correct.
If you're going to do
the endpoint,
you'll need a client secret too. If you're going to do authorization code.
Oh yes. Well, no. It's weird because when you use Postman, it actually requires a client secret, even though it's not used by the authorization flow.
Well, it is in this case because you're doing. See, the grant type is authorization code, and you have to have a secret for authorization code to work. So if you did implicit, you wouldn't need a secret, but because we're doing authorization code, you'll need a secret in here too.
Fine.
I don't make the rule.
Fine.
I don't make the rules.
Authorization URL from here, so you can grab them from the endpoints that are available in your app if you don't know them. And unless you're JP, you should know them. Like, I don't know why you know them.
I mean,
client ID.
Outside of the GUID, which you don't even have to use the GUID. You could use your tenant name or a domain that's in your tenant already. You don't have to use the GUID. And then the rest of it's pretty, I mean, you know, I guess you look at it long enough. You look at it long enough, and you get to a point where you're like, well, I guess I remember that.
You're right. We need a secret here, so let's go and create a new secret.
I can't remember my kid's birthday year, but I can remember,
the default URI to the tokens and the auth.
Yeah, because I could take them to the doctor and they're like, when's their birthday? And I'm like, it always takes me a minute.
Yeah. My wife got a little bit upset about that the last time I did it. So there you go. Let's grab the required scope. So what happens here is we request a scope to the API, and then the API does the on behalf of flow to go and get the graph data. So here we don't need to know that we're accessing the graph, right? We're just passing the access as user scope, and then the app registration for the service will take care of everything else. So if I request a token here now, it will ask me to authenticate. And I'm using my test tenant here. You can get a test tenant if you register on the M365 developer program, or if you have an Azure AD or if you already have an Azure subscription, you already have an Azure AD, so you don't need to worry about that. The nice thing about the test tenant is actually pre-populates with data. So you have graph data, you have emails, you have some calendar information, creates users for you, so you can have multiple users playing around. Thank you, JP. I don't remember my password. My password manager to the rescue. And that's doing two-factor authentication for me without me having to do anything. I love the fact that it's already there for us. 02. Look at that. Permissions, access as user, view basic profile. So that trickled down, right, from the app registration.
Yeah, so that's what's nice about the on behalf of one is the permissions that your API requests are going to come through when you're using V2. Now, if you're using ADAL and ADAL4J and the old V1 endpoints, this doesn't work the same way. But because the scope that you're requesting is to an API, if any permissions that API is requesting, you'll also be asked to consent to, because that API doesn't really have like an there's nothing interactive, right? There's no user sitting in front of an API. So cool. So that way, that view your basic profile is essentially user.read.
Yep.
All right.
Accept that one. And we have our token. Should we check it?
Yeah, let's go take it and go take a look at what it is. So this is the token we're gonna send to your API, right?
Correct. So here we can do jot.ms.
Jot.
There are other tools as well, right? Jot.
This is the worst.
I know.
There's literally no zero.
Somebody said that it's in the official spec that you should pronounce it as.
Well, it's a suggestion. Until it says should, I'm not pronouncing it jot.
You must pronounce it. Right, so let's see. We have the audience, which is our API, which is beautiful. That ID should match our service app registration that we registered first. Mm-hmm. The issuer is our Azure AD. We have the family name, so this is my information here. And then we have the object ID that should match our client ID. No, I don't think that's right.
No, it matches your
object ID.
Your object ID. Yep.
And then here we have the scope, which is access as user. That's the one that we passed through our client.
Yeah. So the things and that's the thing is when we talk about token validation, there are a lot of things that could determine a token is valid, right? Mm. And so at the absolute base set of validity is that if you scroll up some, The base set of validity is that the signature, which is the green part in the token that's as it's displayed up here, the bare minimum is to validate that that signature is correct. Because if you can't validate that that signature of that token is correct, if it's not validated, then that means your token came from wherever, and you can't validate that it came from a place that you're expecting. And that's sort of the root of the trust. If you can't trust that the token data is valid, then you can't trust any of the data in the token, right? And so the first thing that your APIs need to do is validate that that signature is correct. So once we validated the signature is correct, which we'll have to get around to doing, once we validated it's correct, there's still other stuff that still would mark it as a valid token. And so the first one is the issuer, right? So the issuer there of sts.windows.net/b55, that B55 GUID, that's your tenant ID, right?
There you go.
And so sts.windows.net, that's the older endpoint for or the older issuer, the V1 issuer, but we have to validate the issuer first, and in some cases you may even have logic that's driven by the issuer. But then the audience is the next thing we have to validate. So that API 3EFA, that audience is who the token is for.
Yep.
So,
and if we go back to our app and check the API permissions, we'll notice that if I click on this one, that should match.
Yeah, 3EFA 2B7E. 3EFA 2B7E. Yep, so that GUID is the audience in the audience token, the AUD token. That's the one that we have to validate. And by validating that, it's just a string comparison. Once we validated the token signature, then it's just a string comparison. So we have to check the issuer to make sure it's an issuer that we're aware of and that we know about. We have to check the audience to make sure this token is for us, because somebody could have swiped a token from another app and is trying to use it against your API. So we have to check the audience to make sure that audience is us. And then there's some other things you may want to check, like the scope. So we only have one scope, and so access as users sort of do everything as a user, so no big deal. But your app might have different scopes, like user.read or stuff.do or whatever. So if you have any activity or data or anything in your app, methods or anything like that, and you want to gate them on specific scopes, you have to check the scopes when they come in, and we send them in the SCP claim. So there are a lot of things to check to say a token is valid, and some of them are going to be driven by your business rules, and some of them may be driven by just sort of what the spec expects, like validating your audience so that you're not accepting a token from somebody else, and of course validating the signature. And if we don't validate the signature, then you might as well toss the whole token out, because none of it's useless at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So we have that one. We have the token. That works. I mean, we could test we don't need to test that one right now, because the next bit in the process is to add our configuration information into the app, and then also add we already added the MSAL4J, right? And then use MSAL4J to validate the token, and then do the request first. You do get a 401 if you're unauthenticated. You get a 403 if the scope is not right, and you get a data if everything is correct, if I remember correctly, since the last time I used it.
To who? Well, you call the graph?
Through the MSAL4J, yeah. No, if you call MSAL4J, let's see how we do that. If you call MSAL4J, then if the token is not there, or if it's not right, I think you get a 401.
Yeah, but you still need to validate it yourself.
The token?
Yes, the incoming token itself still has to be validated.
Why are they using, what is that, Java, web apps? What is this one? MSAL4J? Yeah, I think that's the MSAL4J. Add signing to Microsoft, to Java web app.
I think this is just sign in though, right?
It is.
Look under web APIs over on in the docs. Do we have a sample for Java?
See,
Of course not.
that's what I said to Nicholas. Nicholas, like you come here, brilliant, and then you come here, it's like there's nothing. But there is a way, I think, in the library. There was an example there. Source docs samples, maybe. Where did I find it the last time? Samples, daemon, Azure Functions as web APIs. But this is generic one, right? So this one is not Java.
That's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, the way you interact with MSAL is to create, in our case, this is going to be a confidential client application, and then we use that against.
That's the one I found the last time. There you go. Now, I found this one says, let's go back to this one. It says a Java web API that calls another web API with a Microsoft Identity Platform using the on behalf flow.
Okay.
And we have the which one is like on behalf of flow source here. MSAL auth helper. MSAL on behalf Java. Let's see which one does what. What does the auth helper do? The auth helper grabs the auth token. If authorization not equals no, get token value. So this one is actually doing the.
I think this is the one we're looking for, right? Which is we create a new confidential client app.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, but I don't get why you need to hash it. We already have the token there, right?
This is that's the cache key.
Oh yeah, that's the cache key. Sorry, yeah. So we need that one.
Yeah, and then we're doing this acquire token silent followed by acquire token at the bottom. So
I think we only do this one. Do we need to do both the silent and the on behalf of? Because we're only doing on behalf of, right?
Yeah, I guess because this is a web app, it looks like. I guess this is a web app that's calling again. So yeah, we probably don't have to worry about it. Although
I read somewhere that you should not be calling this one and it should be directly this one.
Yeah, because there's. I mean, if it fails, it fails. There's not really much you can do. Because it's headless. So.
Yep.
I mean, we could.
So do we want to? Yeah,
we could just skip MSAL and just make the request ourselves.
Yeah, with a confidential client.
Yeah, let's just write the HTTP calls directly against the Azure AD.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So we don't want the confidential client then?
I'm just kidding.
Come on, stop messing with me. Right.
Well, it might be easier than navigating 7,000 abstractions to to get where we need to go, but yeah.
That's all I need to do the last time, right? So let's resolve the dependencies. Nice. Now we need a client ID. I think the client credential factory is also an import. Good. The client, yeah, fine. I'll fix it. And we need the client ID and the authority. Let's go and add them as, how do you add them? I think it's like constants or something. Or I think it's, there's a final string client ID equals, we'll come and fix that, final string client secret. Christos, don't do this. You're adding the client secrets in the app. Right. My logic here is let me get it to work first. I know people are going to jump on me. Let me get it to work first, ensure that everything is working, and then we can remove the secrets from the code and add them in a configuration file that is safer, right? Are you with me? Or are you with me?
I think final is closer to like read-only in C#.
Oh, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
And authority. Really. Right. So for the authority, if I remember correctly, how do we build it? I think it's 2 bits. It's the first bit, which is the on Microsoft.com, and then it's your tenant, right? Azure.
Login.microsoftonline.com.
Client application. What?
That first one's right.
The first one is right. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Authority composed of the identity provider instance and sign-in audience for the app, and possibly the tenant ID. So that'll be, there you go, this one, right? We grab that one and the tenant, and we already have the tenant ID. Or is the tenant name or the tenant ID?
Whichever, it doesn't matter.
Beautiful. I remember this one because it has my name, and I am vain. Then the client secret, we already have it in the file here. There. And then sorry, that's the wrong one. And then the client ID is also in our files here. There you go. So this is the information we need. Yeah. There you go. So here, that should all resolve fine. Why is the, I don't get why. There. Make it straight. And then we need, from the code, we need the on behalf of flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, wrong window. Let's go to see the code again. And here we need an on behalf flow, and we get the token. I wonder if we should be doing this in a separate function.
You could refactor it later. It's fine.
True. Stick it all in the same place. So here, let's resolve the dependencies. Sorry, like control dot import on behalf of user assertion. Import user session from there. Collections. We need to resolve that one as well. We need to add the scope there and the auth token. So the token we already got from, let's rename that. Be consistent. And the scope, I'm going to create another final string scope. Now, is this an array or is this a string? Singleton collect. Oh, it does create the collections here, so it just takes a string and then creates a collection. Okay, so we could be passing a collection instead if we wanted to, right? And the did I get the permission? I did get the permission. The scope. There you go. That's the scope. The whole API, the GUID, and the scope that we created. Do we need to escape? No, we don't need to escape. Perfect. I think we have everything we need. And this would be, what is this? Acquire a token that returns a completable authentication result. That's interesting.
Yep, it should be an authentication result.
Yeah, acquire token. Is it maybe something that needs to happen?
No, look at line 60. That's an authentication result.
You mean 54?
Back in the sample, it's on line 60.
Ah, sorry. You said 60. Authentication result. Okay. Also, it casts. Right. Cool. Authentication. And I think we can resolve this one as well.
And then we should be able to get a token off of that auth object.
Yes. Auth dot
access
token. Boom.
We'll use that to make our graph call.
Yes. Should we test this one to make sure that we can authenticate before we move on to adding the graph stuff? Or do you want to add the graph and then be confident that everything works?
I mean, at this point, we're not really doing... At this point, all we're doing is... because we're not validating the token yet, so nothing here really. I mean, we're going to have a valid token, so this should work. But no, it's fine. Let's go ahead and do the graph call while we're here. Might as well.
We might as well. So how do we call the graph? We need an HTTP request, right? Or an HTTP request with Java. Let's go graph API. And JP will be cringing now because he knows what the graph API call looks like or is.
Luckily, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's HTTPS graph.me for the call.
V1.0
V2.
whack me.
I can't do var. Damn it. See, I missed my vars. Who here uses vars? Hands up. String URI equals v, is it v10.0? And then me.
Yep.
Yep. How do we make a call in Java? I have no idea. HTTP client. Yeah. Do we have an HTTP client in Java? Look at that, Java SDK 2.0. There is a way to do it. Beautiful. Should be this one, right?
Easy enough.
Easy peasy. So that's the asynchronous. We need to do synchronous. Skip most of the stuff, but there's a way to add tokens in this. Can't remember where it was. Maybe a better example, because that's a little bit Java HTTP client. Let's see. There you go. I think that's the one I used the last time. So that's the request, and then you do client send async. Fantastic. Copy pasting like a pro. I think we need to import a library. Import HTTP. Oh, check that out.
Just use the.
Why?
Well, because.
Why is Microsoft hijacking namespaces?
Well, it's not hijacking a namespace. It's in its own namespace.
No, I mean, it's fine. HTTP client. Hey, we didn't steal HTTP client in our library. That's good. So request. Oh, we already have that. Graph request. Let's call it graph request.
Yeah, the lack of var is really bugging me. There's so many.
I know.
So verbose.
URI. We need to resolve that URI as well. How many imports they have? They don't really have that many in the base class library, right? It's a lot of stuff that come from different. Look at that. Look at our references.
Most of them are ours.
Right. Almost there. I mean, the code is not the cleanest, but it is there. So HTTP request header. We also need to add our token, right? So dot header authorization. Then we do bearer plus space. Don't forget the space, Chris. Plus auth dot access token.
And there's you're missing an I at the end of authorization. Yep.
Your attention to detail. What would I do without
that
you?
would have been a big pain later. Like, why isn't it working? Like, we got the header right here.
I'm going to use the .NET one. Will that work? The send async? No, I don't want to change that. Can we do non-async here and see what happens? Send. There you go. Send.
So I wonder what this.
Send the request.
Let's see. Then apply async. I wonder what that means.
Well, if we do client.send, it shouldn't require then apply async. MSAL4J. Do you want me to go back to the send async and see what
No,
happens?
I'm trying to figure out what that then apply async does. Like I don't know what that.
Almost like get a waiter dot get. I don't know. Maybe it synchronizes it for some weird reason.
Oh yeah, that's the completable future. So I guess we don't need that since if we're going to use the asynchronous or use the synchronous one.
The synchronous one.
So let's see what that looks like.
I wonder if there's an example. Client send async send. Client send. And that will be Java. How to send it?
Yeah, it's just a send. It's just client.
It's just
client.send with a request and the body handlers. And since it's a string, we can use that of string one. So just take those out. Oh, that's getting the status code, which is incorrect. We need the string of the actual.
Wait, it sends an HTTP response of T.
Which in our case is a string because we're using that of string body handler.
Okay, it says change which one?
No. Use the middle one. It's just misspelled. That's all.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Response.
And it's in a responsive type string.
Was right?
Huh?
Like it's overboss because back in the not back in .NET I just put var response and then I can just look into the object and see what happens. Response sent of string. There.
So why?
I think it's not a get string. I think it's a get. No, is it? Send.
I mean, looking at Oracle's docs, this is java.net.http and it's client.send. That's it. So what is this?
Maybe it doesn't need the type of.
No. It does need that. Hang on a second.
Send.
Java.net.http client.send sends a request.
Why is it complaining here? I wonder if it's just a weird. Does it come up? It does come up as an error message. Secret cannot be resolved to a variable. What? What? It's not. Oh, it's client secret. There you go. Okay, we got that one. Thank you, IntelliCode. And the method send.
It's not applicable for the arguments. Oh, it's because it's got the graph request, not just request.
Duh. Good catch. It's like, now. So, do we need to put in that?
Hang on. What are the errors? I can't see them.
I can't see it either.
Malform. Why does it keep? Hang on.
Throws I think it's you need to do a try catch around.
No, hang on. Unhandled exception, malformed URL. Oh, here? Is client.send? I think client.send is just. Oh no, that's taking a request.
Takes a request.
So let's see.
I think we need to wrap it in a try catch, otherwise it doesn't work.
No. Oh, hang on.
I'm hanging.
Well, I'm looking at the docs. So, client new builder, and then you got a .build at the end, right?
No.
No, not there at the HTTP request. So we're creating a new builder.
Yes.
We've got our URI. Interestingly enough, I don't even see.
It says that throws IO exception.
Well, it's just telling you that's what it's going to throw.
Unhandled exception type of. Is that the tabs that it throws?
So it's saying that there's
unhandled exception.
IO exception, interrupted exception, which almost seems like, I wonder if that was just the Java stuff bombing, like the IntelliCode stuff breaking.
I bet you. Oh, Alt Enter works. There you go. It's gone. Told you. I don't know. What do we do here? Maybe we need an error that we can return back, or set an error somewhere here.
Just return 401.
Yeah, you say that, but it's not as easy. You need to do a create response builder by request or an authenticator or something, right? So here we need to do, we actually need to catch that as well earlier on, right? Because we don't check if, let's see, HTTP status dot unauthorized. That's unauthorized. There you go. Please pass a valid token. We could check the status if it's a 401 or a 403, and then throw the appropriate error message. But for now, yeah, see, if I think in Java, if something is throws, you need to put in the try catch or handle the exception. Otherwise, it just does this. So it's a little bit more specific about how you deal with.
We still have that same exception down there, though. That's what I'm curious about.
Which exception?
Malformed
Oh,
URL.
you mean down here? Let's see why. Create from client secret authority. Is the authority wrong?
Is it expecting a URI and not a string?
Ah. Is it new URI?
No. What's the authority?
Oh, it says string.
Oh, it is
so
a string.
It needs to be a string. It is a string.
Okay, so put a trailing slash at the end of your authority. Not that that should matter at all, but
Here.
yeah. Well, the authority works.
Well, the authority works. Unhandle exception of time malformed URL exception. This function listens to endpoint HTTP, API HTTP. Okay, that's weird. Like it shows something very different to create from secret, expects a string. So that's fine. Builder expects a string for the client ID. And the client ID is, you don't think this is like, it has characters there that it thinks it's a URI, do you? For the client secret?
No, it shouldn't be a URI anyway, right? What's the signature of the builder for the first one? Like hover over builder.
Wait a minute. Here, this one.
Yeah, so that's expecting a client ID and iClient credential. So that's our credential factory. Okay. So that all looks. That looks fine. Maybe just build it.
Build it and they will come.
Because I mean, it looks correct. We got the right types in there. I don't know why it's.
It
definitely doesn't like it.
Yeah. Compilation error. Unreported exception. Java malformed URL exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. What? Do we need a wrapper around this?
I guess so.
Do we need to try catch? Doesn't throw though. Build it doesn't throw. Let's see what the example had here. No, that's not the one. Where are we here? There's no try catch around the confidential client here. What is the client ID? The client ID is a string, and the authority is a string. The secret is a string. Interestingly enough, ours just complains.
Let's see.
Malfold URL exception. So what does it not like? I think it's the client ID. This function listens to this endpoint.
Hang on a second.
What is it? So if we go back to just going back into our sample, the sample code that we have seems to be pretty straightforward. A sharp machine 555. We're not peer coding. We're not actually doing live share. We could be doing live share, to be honest, but we are not. But JP and me are working together on this one, yeah. This is carbon copy, so that's weird.
Why don't we do live share? Why not, right?
Let's do live share, right? Here. No, that's not here. How do we do live share? I can't remember. It's not this one. Do I need to install the extension for live share? Install this one. Live share. Live share. Real-time collaborative tools. There you go, installing now. Why not? So somewhere down here, we should see the live share. Start collaboration session. Sign in. Sign into your Microsoft account. Use your security key. No, I don't have a security key. Otherwise, sign in. I like how it picked up that default, even though it was not. Oh, come on. I do not have a key to touch. Other ways to sign in. Azure AD is just messing with me now.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah. There you go. Use my password. Sign in. That's going to sign in with the username and password. Yeah, we'll do that one. And I will grab my domain name. It's not the one. Got it. And then it will ask me to do a two-factor authentication via my phone, because it can never be secure enough. There you go. Approving now. Yes. I am trying to sign into. Decided trying to open. We're already open. Hello. Yes. Open. It's currently in the auto connection mode that improves performance. Perfect.
You know, the thing I was thinking though is I don't have Java or anything on my machine. I don't think I can. Live share isn't gonna.
You know what? That's the beauty, my friend. With live share, you don't need to have anything installed on your machine. What you're doing is actually accessing my machine. And let me see, where is the live share window? Where did it go? You should have come up with, this is how you get access to your live share. Session details, invite participants. Copy the clipboard, right? JP, I'm sending it to you via Teams.
Okay.
Beautiful. You get the URI directly, and then we should see you joining the session very soon. Let me know when you get it.
Okay, it's firing up.
So you're gonna start poking into my code now, aren't you? I like how Sharp Machine 555 is surprised. Yes, we are actually Microsoft employees. We're the developer advocates for the identity division, and we work as PMs. There you go. JP, join the game. As long as you don't do Leroy Jenkins on me today. I was watching that video again yesterday. Man, that's epic. Who here knows about Leroy Jenkins and the awesome raid that he did with, was it World of Warcraft? World of Warcraft? Damn, that was good. Let me send a link to those that haven't seen it. If you're playing collaborative games online, then you know that sometimes there's this one person in the team that does its own thing, his own thing, her own thing, and my internet just froze.
Oh,
now.
it
I don't know
doesn't.
why.
It doesn't let me do anything. It says the host doesn't allow running this command. If needed, ask them to.
So what? Why not? Participants, shared servers. So what are we
I don't know.
missing here?
What do you need to? You have to give me permission to do something.
How?
I don't know. Right click. No. Configure settings. The very bottom. At the bottom.
On here?
At the bottom. Configure settings.
Live server account. Live server. Allow guest debug control. There you go. And allow guest
Task control. Yep.
Yes.
Let me see if it'll let me.
Give him everything. Allow invites. Prompt. Live server. Code lens. Comments. Yeah. Your changes are automatically saved as you edit. So can you access now?
No, but I'll give it a second. We'll see.
Maybe you need to reconnect or somehow?
Well,
No?
it pretty much says.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I can do that. It's not letting me run tasks. I'm trying to use one of the. I'm trying.
Do we need to debug?
No, not yet.
You can start a discussion. Check this out. It's all your fault. Because you doubted my my approach. No, it's fine. Right. So we're. That's super weird.
I think.
Did we do something?
Well.
Should I? You know what? Should I? Although the debug failed, so I was wondering if we, if I close the file and open it again, if it will resolve. Because sometimes it does that. Like Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code will get hold of a file and then won't.
Just put a try catch around it. Put a try catch around the It says we should either put a try catch around it or we should add a throws declaration, but I'm not sure where the throws declaration actually needs to go.
Yeah. So let me.
Hang on a second.
Let me do it before I cast. Although that looks weird to me.
What happened to all the code? Well,
the code is here.
Well,
it's like it disappeared.
It's gonna have to be picked up in a whole lot. Like you have to pick up a whole lot of those variables.
I think it's only this one I need to move up. But the problem resolved now, see? Then in here we do Alt up arrow, and it does it for me. And then I say auth. I also mistyped it up there, and rather than putting a colon, I put that. So auth is here now. It should be accessible outside, and I think that's it. Also, it asks for a cut. I like how some things are consistent. Like I didn't even know that I had to type exception E, and then it just works here. Do something, and then cut. That is super weird, right? You needed a try catch around it because it throws. Again, I think if something throws, then you need to catch it, I suppose. Right. So that will actually throw an auth exception, isn't it? If we acquire the token, that would be an auth exception. Anyway, we can fix that later. So we, oh, it doesn't like the auth here. What is it saying? The local variable auth may not have been initialized. Okay. Auth is null. Happy? Happy. Response is not used anywhere, I think. That's what it's saying here. Or what is it? Oh yeah, we need to. What is it saying? Response.
Well, that's your graph response, but we're not using it yet, right? Because
Yeah.
we haven't parsed out our graph response yet.
Correct. But let me just put it here. So we can access it outside the cache, right? Because we'll need to return it at some point. Response, and then we'll say response here. And I think we're good to rock and roll. Actually, let's clean some code over here. We don't need that anymore. We don't need your names. Control-Shift-L, I do it all the time. So what do we say? Response. But I'm just going to do request. Remove that one. Return. Request create response handler. HTTP OK, body response. And build. So if everything works, we should get what's it called? It's not JSON. We get some weird. I remember. Can't remember the name now. I need more coffee. Right. Let's run it. Let's try and see what happens. Should we get a breakpoint or should we roll?
Yeah, just run it.
Just run it.
I guess all the tests are probably going to blow up, though.
I don't think so.
Well, yeah, because we don't have a valid test. We don't have a valid.
For what?
We don't have a valid token in there.
Yeah, but you think it's? Yeah, it does. You know what? That was the annoying bit. It was I had to actually pass an actual token, a valid token, to get the test to pass.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure we should figure out a better way to mock all that stuff up for now. But for the moment, you know what? I'll do it since I'm in here.
Oh, you're in the tests?
Yeah, hang on.
Nice. Look at that. Collaborative debugging and building applications, isn't it? Collaborative building. Did you add the right token? Do you have a valid token?
Okay, run it now.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of black magic did you do?
I did the same thing that somebody did to me 10 years ago when I worked in enterprise dev, and they forced me to write tests for everything that I wrote. It still didn't work. Go up.
Did you? I know. You removed all the tests.
Scroll up.
Right. Let's go. Let's go to tests, and let's stop this.
Scroll.
I'll paste the right.
Well, your token may have expired by now. Scroll up some.
I got a new one.
Okay. Scroll up in the terminal window.
Scroll up in terminal window. Yep.
The terminal.
Oh, that was a built-in.
The terminal.
There.
Go down. Down one more. All right, hang on. Okay, try it now.
He removed all the tests. I love it.
Control KC. It's the best. It's the best key combination in the world. No, I mean we should write some tests. Like, don't get me wrong, we should write some tests.
Oh yeah, it was it.
I just don't feel like
if you're only
doing it right now.
You're only starting with these things. I don't want to write tests. I don't want to. I mean, Oh, there you go. It just worked. You just bypassed everything.
Yeah, we just.
How do you even get your code to work? You just don't write any tests.
Well, it's sort of it's like coronavirus testing, right? If we don't test anybody, then if
you don't test, there's no.
There's no problem if nobody's been tested. So it's fine, no problem at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, it's lunchtime around here.
I know. Are you getting hungry? What happened there? My debugger just goes, "Oh, you can't debug." Use this. Thank you. Use the token, and then here we're gonna call it. Let's see what happens. Oh, something is happening. Check this out. Failed to load. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Sending request. I don't have a breakpoint, do I? No. No breakpoints. It's taking a while. It's warming up. What's wrong? What is wrong, baby? Speak to me. Failed to load class. Org MSAL4J implement the static logger. Trigger the process. Maybe we need to rerun it. Cancel.
Well, it's weird because something's there listening, but nothing's happening. That's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just run it. Just run it again before you restart it.
I'll do a refresh.
You could just.
It's the day of restart.
You could just do a func run too instead of trying to debug it.
I think the func. Yeah, you're right. Let's see what happens. Step 1 out of 7. Step 7 out of 7. That's our func run now.
Okay.
Send it. Oh! Something is failing. I think something is just blocking here. I don't know what is happening.
Failed to load class. It looks like there's some sort of logging dependency that we're missing. SLF4J. Hang on.
This function was programmatically called. Yes, it was. We know that. Why is our function not working? I wonder if I had like some weird... See, hot code replaced. That's amazing. If you edit something in the code and you just want to edit it, please pass your valid token.
Oh, well, it looks like you need to add a Maven dependency for SL4J. SLF4J, it would seem.
I thought...
Here, I'll put it in the... I'll send you a link because it's got the thing in there. Here.
So I changed the code. I'm going to cancel this one and then send it again. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Where do you put it?
In your pom.xml.
Oh, did you already put it in there?
No, I sent you a... Oh, I guess that's true. I can do it, can't I? Hang on. Hold, please.
Hold the line.
Let's see.
Hold the line.
Okay. Start it again.
Need to stop. Oh, okay. Did you start it again?
No, you started again.
Okay. This is... we're going like crazy. This is what happens when you live code and you code with a buddy. Did you do it? No, did you do it? Tesseract is working with functions today and doing deployments. Absolutely, my friend. You can use Azure DevOps and it will do most of the heavy lifting for you. Oh, come on, another... What happened there? Maven
failed to
failure.
clean. Just run it again.
Yeah. Yes. So if you are looking at, while we're building this one, and it's building Azure DevOps, dev.azure.com.
Is that what it's still called, or have they changed the name again this year?
It's called GitHub now. Let's see if it remembers my Windows, my Microsoft auth. I don't have to log in again. I think our function is building in the background. I can see the blue stuff coming up. If you go into one of your projects, if you have Azure DevOps, it's free, by the way. I'm struggling to find any offerings that allow you to use programming languages like Python and C# to generate and deploy your templates. Well, we use ARM templates for infrastructure. So if you are deploying to Azure, then ARM templates or Terraform or whatever you really fancy, to be honest, should work. So when you go into Azure DevOps, we're sidetracking a little bit. And then you can actually also use the Azure Management SDKs. And this is where JP is going to just get triggered. Allow you to create programmatically using C# resources. In pipelines, if you already have an Azure...
Sorry, my 2-year-old just came in and he's He's missing.
All
He's
right.
missing his diaper, but Lord only knows where it is. There are the resource manager SDKs for .NET are pretty good. They follow that sort of fluent design, where you got these sort of builders and you do this, with that, with this. So create a VM with this configuration, with this. I've used them a couple times. They're not too bad. Maybe that's something we probably look at those next week if we want on for the Asman.
Yes.
Let me put a thing in the chat.
Tesseract. I have your task here. You can select an Azure function directly to Azure Function, and you can have one called Azure Functions for containers. So if you are using ARM templates, there are some benefits as well, because you can add variables, you can use Key Vault to abstract secrets and what have you. So there are options. And then it's the Azure SDK, Azure Management SDK for C#. And this allows you to go and create resources. It also tells you which ones you have that are supported. Somewhere here, Azure SDK for .NET API. Complete list of management libraries can be found here. There you go. ASP.NET, Cognitive Services. I'm pretty sure Azure Functions should be somewhere down here. Are these the management SDKs?
Yeah, I mean, the management SDKs are what you're going to want, right? Because,
Yeah.
here's I just put a link to the Python one in the chat. And what's neat is, the CLI, the Azure CLI, is written all in Python, right? So, so they definitely exist. But, yeah, if you're looking for a way to do... if you're looking for a way to do it in code and not write ARM templates, like the JSON ARM templates, which nobody would blame you for, that's one way to do it. And then there's the .NET one, too, that... follows that sort of fluent thing. So
yeah, and I know you say it's we're very geared towards Azure DevOps, but remember, GitHub Actions also support a lot of deployment scenarios to Azure. So if you want to create your Azure Functions infrastructure using Azure GitHub Actions, you can also do Azure GitHub Actions. Oh, I rebranded the whole thing. You can use GitHub Actions to deploy to Azure as well. Just don't think it's only Azure DevOps. There are options out there, and you can roll out your own code. There you go. It's actually working. JP, let's see if we're going to get the magic. Send. Oh, damn it. Why? Failed to load class. Still not loading.
Failed to load the static logger binder. All right, hang on.
Failed to load the static. I mean, we could remove the logger altogether and be done with it. You know what I mean? Get logger. Fine.
Yeah, but...
Oh, it's actually in the context. So it's not... why? Oh, why? I saw that.
Here, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Try...
hanging on.
Let me go find the latest one of these.
So close. Are we going to make it in 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen? The build specifies execution path. There are no GREs installed in the workspace that are strictly compatible. What?
I don't think that matters. That's just because you're using that Azul one.
The import to com functions is never used. Do you see that one? Oh, that's in the test. Right, okay. I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. That's because we commented out all the tests.
Okay. Run it again.
Run it again. Do I need to save and do anything, or just run it?
Well, make sure you've got the latest, but I see it running over here, so it's probably okay.
There's no get latest. We're coding in production, ladies and gentlemen. No, we're not. We're coding locally, but we could push to production once we finish. 1 out of 7, 7 out of 7. Kicking off the funk host start now. Let's see. Send it. Oh, come on. Come on.
I wonder if there's some sort of a conflict between what MSAL's using and what Functions is using.
Shouldn't be, because the identical code, or almost identical code, was used last time I did the test as I was preparing for this one in Word. Failed to load class org.
Oh, wait a minute. Scroll back up. Scroll back up.
What do you need? You know what? I'm going to debug it and see what. Oh no, it doesn't even load the code, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, it
that
does.
would be even.
Yeah, because it runs until you try to execute a specific function.
Well, let's see what happens again. I should have restarted. I should have just called again. Although I think it was blocked, so it wasn't calling. Okay.
It failed again anyway. Probably because something's locked. Yeah, just run it again.
It was too soon. Too soon. The error message was too soon. 4 to 5, too early. 4 to 5, too early. Tan, tan, tan. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the SDK is a little bit too low level. Okay. See what Tesseract's saying here. Great stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. That middle spot, the middle of generating resource manager templates, would be a nice place to be, because writing them by hand sucks.
I told you. We're not even hitting the function.
We'll take the logger out. Maybe just take the logger out for now.
So in .NET, the logger is explicitly defined as a dependency, or as part of the.
I would just comment the logging calls out.
Okay, let's do that. Disconnect. Who needs logging anyway, right?
I think that was the only one anyway, wasn't it?
Just checking, making sure that we haven't missed anything. Right, let's see. Standing up because I am getting cramp. Michael cramp.
No, it's true though. The ecosystem around automated deployments is quite different from Azure to AWS. Like that's super true, because I remember when Lambda first came out, that was the thing. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, we can use this for post-deployment tasks and for doing deployments and everything." And it wasn't even application focused. It was all about doing deployments, right? Which is really kind of an interesting dynamic, I guess.
Damn it. Damn you.
Let's see. What's going on here?
Yeah. It's a static logger binder is failing. Defaulting to no operation. Failed to load class org MSAL4J. Implement static logger binder. That's some binding code that we have to allow us to get the logger as part of the function. But I don't see any other error messages, right? So what else do we have? Compiler compliance.
Hang on.
Okay, that's fine. Path. I wonder, can we restore the tests and just add a valid token there, because that's how I did it. I made it work on my end. I wonder if there's some weird thing happening with the tests not running. Much says multiple schemas when only one must validate. How's that even possible? You know what I mean? Should we just turn the tests back on and pass a valid token, get it to work for now? No, that's in the function.tests. Do not do this in production. I just like remove. How do you take all the? Do it live. Yeah, I'll do it live. How do I take the format selection? How do you remove all the the comments in one go.
KU.
Control C what?
Control. Oh yeah, hang on. I'll do it here. Control KU is how mine's set up. I don't know how yours is. There you go.
Ah, okay. So here I'm just going to add a valid token for now.
I mean, I don't know what the test. I
shouldn't
don't
make
know
a
what the
difference.
test would have to do with a runtime dependency, but
I don't know, just for the sake of consistency, I suppose. Okay, that should be enough. I don't know, maybe some, because we didn't get that error message before when we're running, right?
well, I took
Until we commented out.
I took the dependency out.
But it wasn't there. The Maven dependency, you added it and then you removed it.
I know. I'm
right?
saying. I'm just saying. I took it out.
Oh, good, good.
Which-
So we're back to where things were working before we tested the graph client. Let's see what happens.
I wonder if MSAL and
Oh, again, it failed. Even on the test, it fails. If I scroll up,
what's the failure? The same one.
again, yeah.
See, I'm wondering if
Failed to
that's.
load class.
I'm wondering if MSAL is trying to load a separate, like some sort of separate log or something. You know what I mean?
Logger.
So hang on. What does it say? Get down to the bottom of your. All right. Well, so it's running. Run it again.
Yeah. Send.
Okay. Same
No.
thing, right?
It's blocking. Yeah. Well, why? I had it working last week.
I wonder if there's some cache or something. Like I'm fine. I found some dependencies that are, or some Stack Overflow things that are just like a mile long. Like, oh. Let's see.
But the fact that it's failing to load that class,
This is definitely a popular question on Stack Overflow. There are about 3,000 different variations of the same
wow.
question.
so this is, yeah, so the tests are running tests. 1 run, 0 failures, but it did have a fail to load class. But I think because it's not used, doesn't really matter, or because there's no bindings to the code. Let's see, test HTTP trigger, HTTP response message.
I mean, if the test is passing, that sounds like it's getting something back. Although, oh no, because yeah, we're mocking the thing. Although we're still making
Yes.
that graph call.
Correct. The graph call succeeds, but we don't really get the data back, or we don't.
Well, but so
read
why
it.
would it succeed in this context and not succeed in the function context? Which makes me wonder if there's some sort of a dependency difference somewhere.
Func, because this one is not calling func host run, right? This one is just running in code.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's an environmental difference between the function host and this host, which is why I'm not kind of wondering: is there a conflict between what functions is using and what MSAL is using in terms of which loggers they're expecting or have dependencies on? I mean,
Maybe they both have the same dependency, but they have different versions of that dependency, and then you can resolve it. Back in back in .NET, you used to have that problem, right? Where you had multiple versions of the same dependency, and then you couldn't find which one to run. What do you think will happen if we deploy to Azure?
it won't work. Be my guess.
Look at you and your confidence. How do you deploy this one? It's like this one, deploy the function up. There you go. Are you sure you want deploy? Yes, I want deploy. Running the pre-deploy task. I wonder if it's just a local dependency, not
Maybe so.
maybe so. So if it doesn't run locally, deploy to production and see if it runs. So many bad practices here. Don't listen to us, folks, but I'm just trying to work around the local dependency failure. Surprisingly enough, I did not have the same issue with my other VM.
Well,
when I
this
was
is
doing
this is the inner loop, right?
It is the inner loop, which is supposed to be working better than the outer loop because it allows us to catch issues sooner. It is a little bit disappointing, though. Let's see. It's deploying to our production environment, our portal. Unfortunately, it's not the same portal as this one. So I need to, let's see what happens. What is it saying? Deployment completed. What is the view output? Okay, so it's just the output here. So let's log into my production portal in private.
Here we go. Here's an issue.
In the GitHub? The GitHub repo? Where'd you find it, JP? Don't leave us in... No.
Oh, no, I found an issue about this specifically, and the answer was to add an MSAL4J somewhere on the class path, which we could go find an MSAL4J no-op jar file. And the response was, I ended up fixing it by removing logging from the host.json. Which I guess is one option. To just remove logging entirely, but, you know.
Is that inside functions?
Yeah, and the host.json.
Oh, you removed from there, okay.
But it pretty much means all we need is an MSAL4J no-op, which let me see if I can find that.
Is this going to work? Sign in with phone, yes. Two-factor authentication. Getting it.
Oh, we need 1.6, it looks like.
Runtime?
No, sorry, I'm thinking aloud. For the MSAL4J.
Okay.
Place an MSAL4J no-op.jar on the class path of your application.
Let's see. Let's find a Java. Somewhere here I have something about Java. Java, oh, is that the right one? It should be the right one. That's the one we deployed to. Let's check the resource group. Yeah, that's the one. We just deployed it. So we should be able to hit it, right?
Yeah, just go change the URL in your thing.
Ditto. See here. What is the get function URI? There you go. Change the URL here. We should have changed the name, like get graph data or something. Send it. What's gonna happen? Ton.
Go check your logs of your function while it's running.
Attach to production. What logs do you need? Monitor?
Yeah, we can look here. They might be kind of delayed, but that's okay. Try
zero error count.
Just do a refresh down here. It usually takes a while when it's in App Insights for it to come.
It does. It takes up to 5 minutes.
Go back to
as it says.
Go to the code and test bucket.
Oh, this one? That's a good idea.
You'll see the live ones from the bottom. Yeah, logs at the bottom.
But this is only if you run it.
No, you can run it wherever, and you'll get the logs. So run it again from your Postman, but leave this window up.
I think we're getting the same issue. It's like blocking somewhere.
Yeah, I think so too. It's lame.
Lame. But why? I did not have that conflict yesterday, unless something changed in the either SDKs, right?
Well, let's go check the versions of like the functions runtime and stuff that you're using. Make sure those are all correct.
The one that was running and the one that is not running, you mean? Is that the comparison you want to do?
The one that worked yesterday and the one that doesn't work today.
Yes.
Check the dependency versions in Maven.
Yeah, let me just spin it up. Damn, I got 4 minutes. I'm so disappointed.
That's all right. I mean, there's always
tomorrow.
Yeah.
No new trace in 1 past minute, so I don't think we can execute it. That just doesn't run for some reason. But we can swap. I think we can swap to the working VM and show it in action. Fun times with Java. Fun times with Java. I'm logging into my other VM right now, so in case people are wondering what we're doing. The credentials do not work. Really? There you go. It worked now. Third time, lucky. Should we swap to the one that is working?
No, just go here. Go put one of these files in your class path. In fact, maybe I can do it from here. Let me see.
Yeah. I think everything else is consistent between the two. Right? What are we checking? Let's check one file at a time and see what happens. Cancel this one. So go to files. I'll check one file at a time. Extensions. They are the same. Launch.json. It is the same. Settings. Oh. Ooh, that's interesting.
What?
Because I excluded stuff. I had files excluded. Because remember that pop-up that was coming up in the beginning saying, do you want to exclude stuff? And we're like, we're not sure about that. Well, that's the one that it did the exclusion. I do have different error messages here. The schemas. Okay. Tasks.json. So let's see, tasks.json. They are consistent. I mean, we haven't really messed with these files, so this should be exactly the same as the default template.
Well, look in the pom.xml.
Okay.
So we've got 161 of MSAL4J. Which one do you have in yours?
Checking now. My dependencies are 1.61 for MSAL4J. Then I have Jupyter, and then I have Mockito.
Those are for the tests, which should be the same. What do you have?
And no other dependencies.
Well, what do you have for the Azure Functions? Look near the top. It should be 131 for azure.functions.java.library.version.
Yeah, so this one matches with my test one. And then these also match. The Maven and Java libraries match in versions.
These two.
Yep.
15 and 16, 160 and 131. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And then you're using Functions Extension version 3, right?
Let me just double check. I think I am. Yeah, I mean, these are all the default stuff, so we didn't really mess with anything. Which one is the version? Where's the version? Show me again. Or tell me.
Line 95. Functions Extension version.
95. Yeah, again, because I did it only last week, it should be consistent and the same. Java version, let's see. Up settings. Yeah, function extensions version 3 with the tilde. Java version 8, that's consistent. Service plan, function up name. Yeah, man. I mean, everything is exactly the same.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, what did you do?
Hang on, I think I forgot something. Let me see if I can.
You forgot to add something?
Let me see if can I run this? Can I start a run from here?
Yes, you started it.
Oh,
Live serve
nice.
for the win.
Okay, cool.
Live serve for the win, my friends. Isn't that amazing? So JP is running my Azure function on my VM via live share without him having any dependencies or any Java or any function call runtime on his local machine. So that is what live share gives you, access to the remote host. Right, are we testing the URI and see what happens?
Oh yeah, see, I see everything in the functions window down here way far before. Okay, do it. Yeah, run it and let's see.
It's localhost
7071
7071.
and not HTTPS.
Obs. There you go. And no exclamation mark or question mark in the end. Sending it and oh. I think we have a breakpoint. Oh, we hit a breakpoint. Did we? Where is it? What happened?
Might still be.
It says executing.
Might still be running.
Well, no, it says it. Yeah, but it hasn't hit the breakpoint up here. Unverified breakpoint. Why? Oh, it's because I'm in the middle of nowhere, right? That's a commented out line. Well, this time we didn't get an error message in the console, but it's not. What's happening? You know what? I'm gonna cancel that call and then try to debug.
Are we actually returning a response? I mean, because we can only see like 3 lines of code at a time.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, it's either visibility or.
Well, no.
So let's see.
Yeah, like we've got this catch here. We're not doing anything. So so let's maybe return a
return an error.
Return a 401 there, and then the body pass the exception just so we can see it.
Sure. Or you think there's an exception happening and we don't see it, and then.
Be my guess. Yeah, somewhere in this, because that's a pretty important block that we're just swallowing that exception on, and we're never returning. So, although, yeah.
See, one change class reloaded. So I wonder if we can actually call it now. Oh, I think I should put a breakpoint here somewhere. Just see what happens. Because again, it's blocking somewhere. It doesn't do anything. Send.
I think your
right.
breakpoint
Okay.
got hit.
So we are in the function now. Okay. Get the auth token. The auth token is up there, so we have the token. We build it, and then we user assertion parameters on behalf of parameter auth. Okay.
That's good. So do we get a token?
I think it's outside the scope of. Where are you? Oh, it blocks here. This is where it dies.
Oh, I think it's this .join on the back.
Mm-hmm. By mistake?
Well, I wonder if that's the equivalent of like an await. Hang on.
Oh. Timeout. Okay, we timed out. That's fine. Acquire token.get, maybe?
No. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Well, where was the example? Let's go back to our example. So here we're doing a confidential client build, and then we're doing a build. Oh, it does have an acquire token, like join, right? Down there. But it's not an async kind of a call, so I would expect it to come back. But this one is definitely the one that blocks or doesn't go anywhere further. What it is. So what's the difference between the completable future and the join? What is the join? That is also a completable future. I wonder if we can just do get. Right? What's the worst that can happen? It just won't run. So I think the call is down here. I'll put a breakpoint there. We know that it executes now and it goes into the function, which is great. How did you fix the problem again? What did you have to do? You said, I forgot to do something, and then you did something, but you didn't tell us.
That's right, I did.
Is it in the settings?
It was in the POM XML. I had the original scope of only test. That's what I was missing. I took the scope out of test. That was what I was missing.
So up here in the dependencies, right?
Yeah, the SLF4J simple. There was one extra. There was one extra tag here called scope test, and that's what I took out.
Right. Okay. So we are attached. Oh, it says acquired lease. Is it because it's trying to do something? And
no, it's ready to go. It's ready to run.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. I have just a small window view. The price you pay for making the code readable. Send. Okay. Acquire token. I think this is where we we got it.
Sweet.
Response. Do we return?
Yeah, it's still sending. There it is. And look at our response. We should have some data. Look at that.
Right. Let's check our window. What? Am I still debugging? I said send. What happened? This is native code execution. I don't want that one. Where are we?
I don't know. Still waiting on it to come back, I guess.
That's way too long. Should have come back by now.
Could be waiting on some. It may be waiting on some of those others to complete.
But I'm not. I've got. No, that's taking way too long now.
Well, just run it again without debugging it.
True. Do I have a? There you go.
Could be lazy execution depending on how it's doing.
We should get the old data back. Oh, you think that?
Meaning, I think everything might be executing at the very end.
What's wrong with you, Java today? Why do you not play a game with us? Let me check I think in my old code I was doing a join. I wasn't messing around with the actual call. Let's see. Validate token, columns graph. Cats acquire token dot join. Yeah. And I would pass that result into the graph call. And wait, what do we do with, let me just cancel this one. What does our client do? So client send, yes, request, type of string, yeah.
Oh wait, well no, yeah, it's just client.send. Okay.
You know what? Is this using the, let me stop this one. Point me. What are you? What are you? Tell me, what are you? You know what? I had to actually be very explicit in the last call when I did it, because this one was a graph call.
Oh.
And it was sending some weird kind of a request. I wonder if that's it. Although the last time it said there's a conflict in the namespaces, and that's how.
What does it say under problems?
Yeah. Let me just run it again. We're slightly overrun by 10 minutes, but I think I want to get this running before we stop the stream. Come on, we're so close. By the way, can you let Todd know that we'll be slightly late?
Yeah.
He's all alone, waiting for us. Some team. Okay, it's up and running. So I'm sending it. Yes, we called it. What happened? Come on. Where are you blocking? I think we need to check our returns. I wonder if we're not returning something. Are we? Yeah, we do have this one, right? So let's see. If I put a breakpoint here, will we hit it? No, I don't want a new access token. I just want to send it. Dude, we make it.
So what's in the
I think it's
response?
an issue.
What's in the response? Is there graph data in there?
Body, value.
It's just a byte array. That's fine.
But it has data.
Well, that may be part of the problem. Is we need the actual, we need the response, the raw response, like the string of the response.
Oh, is it?
So trying to like
you know
serialize that whole thing.
No. I think I had headers dot header dot accept. No, it's content type, right? Content.
No. My point is, it looks like we're trying to send back an entire response object.
Which is fine.
Well, no, because something's going to serialize it. It's going to do a bunch. I mean, you can't do that in .NET and have it work all the time either. We just need the.
Don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
I'm saying we need the content. We need the content of the response. We don't need the response object. We need the content of the response.
Correct. But it actually returns a no data object.
What do you mean?
The response that comes back from that request is just. Oh, you mean response?
I don't understand.
Just looking at what I did the last time. What did I send back? I sent back response.body. Duh.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
And there are two accept headers. We only need the one. So there you go.
Yeah. Fine. You know what? I think we got it. I am not saying that we got it, but we got it. Are you ready? Are you ready to see magic? Because I am. It's gonna work. I am confident.
So since we're running over, what are we doing on Thursday?
We have our community hour.
Yeah, but are we talking about anything in particular? I guess we'll see what the community's produced by then.
Yeah. We can also talk about the recent hacks that took place, and I don't want a new token. I want to send it.
Speaking of recent hacks,
I'm
just kidding.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, and it came back. We got a 200. How about that?
We got it.
Nice.
Yes.
So what does it look like in Postman?
Invalid authentication token. Invalid audience.
Well, I'm glad we.
It is, because we actually that's me being stupid, right? What we asked here was the scope, which is wrong because the scope is passed by the ID. Here is user.read.
Oh, well, hold on. You needed the. Well, yeah, you're right. I guess for right now, because we're not validating the token at all. So.
Correct.
I guess it's probably okay to do this here.
Yeah. Ready? Let me remove my breakpoint. I want it to happen all in one go without really ruining my flow. Send.
Look at that.
Boom. Yes.
Man, that one felt hard fought. I am glad. I am glad we made that one.
Just at the nick of time with 50 minutes overtime, but we did it.
Yeah, it's okay. So next week we'll do. We'll actually validate the token at our API.
Just pass the token for now. We don't really care. It's 200 OK. It took 444 milliseconds to execute running locally. We could upload to Azure. I can upload to Azure. There will be a blog post at the back of that. I'm still dubious about why we had to add that in our POM file for the logger, because I was not getting that issue before. But there you have it. The summary is here. We managed to get our Java function to grab the authentication token. So I suspect that we can unremove this one. Grab the authentication token, create a confidential client in the application, and then do an on behalf of flow to the graph, and grab the token back, and then pass that new access token into the graph call over HTTP, so we didn't use the SDK. and we grabbed the me data. So that's me. And then we passed it back. Apparently the .body is important. Not the whole response. Don't send back the whole response. Just send the body of the response, because that's what we need, the data. And we were able to see the data in our client app, which in this instance was Postman. Thanks everyone for sticking with us these 3 hours. It was fun setting up and playing with Java. It's definitely a learning curve for us because we are new to Java, so we got some things wrong and some things right. And thanks for everyone that contributed and helped us get over the edge, because we couldn't get some of the permissions running or the core tools for functions running, but we made it to the end. So there's going to be a blog post. The video will be available for you on demand. Send us your questions. Make sure you follow us, and we'll see you on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time or 11 a.m. Eastern time, or 4 p.m. UK time. I've got all the time zones in my head right now. So thanks everyone. We'll see you soon.
See you Thursday.